OMG. Hello, everybody. I had everything perfectly set up, and then the chat is missing, and I thought I had all my things ready to go, and now I don't know. My system isn't showing the chat, so I'm like kind of freaking out. Like, live isn't already nervous enough, but I'm trying to figure it out right now. Here we go. Let's see if I can do something here. Okay, it says that we're live. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the chat just from YouTube. Let me see. Oh my gosh, and I'm all in caps, of course. So I think I have the chat here, which is good. I'll just have to do it from YouTube instead of from my actual streaming service, which is kind of, it's just something else, right? But I think it's fine. You guys, it's working. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Usually with my streaming software, like the chat automatically pulls up and it's not pulling up and it's not logging in. So I'm like, I don't know what the frig is going on, but I can see you guys now. So I'm super excited. How's everyone doing? It is a winter wonderland here. It is so cold. It's getting a little wild out there, but we're here. We're making it. Big day. Big day. Wow, there is a lot to get into. So I have a little bit of a schedule here that we're going to follow. So there is a judge's order today, actually two that we're going to get to. So one is about, as everyone I'm sure has probably heard if you're following this case, the case has been postponed. We're going to talk a little bit about that because Blake's team ran to People Magazine, whereas it's just very funny that she's allowed to use the court case for PR and then always blame Wayfair for PR. So we're going to talk about both of the judge's orders. One has to do with what happened today in court. One has to do with these dang signal messages, y'all. Oh my gosh. Then also, yes, there's been a little bit of a leak of a phone number. We'll talk about that real quick. And then Blake's response for a spoliation. I already caught this girl in a lie. I don't know if her lawyers hate her or what's going on, but it's really bad. We're going to talk about that. And then Stephanie motherfucking Jones, okay? Not only did she file her response for spoliations, but now she would also like to re-amend the case after fact discovery is closed. So she's actually already refiled. She asked the judge if she could refile and then just went ahead and refiled everything without even an answer yet. So we're going to talk about both those things. The good thing is with Stephanie Jones is she actually did a red line entry. That's what we're going to look at so you can see what's new and what isn't. But let's just go over everything because there's a lot on the agenda today. So we're going to get into it. Oh my God, is that how my hair turned out? I just looked. Okay, this is what we're going with, I guess. But how is everyone doing? There's a lot happening, so it's a little cray, you know? Has Blake and Jones forgotten about the letter cease and desist that came on the 20th? I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. But this is what we have from the judge, okay? So there's two motions I want to get into. I'm going to pull them up on the screen. Let's see. So the first one we'll get into is the one that was just filed moments ago. It's funny how People Magazine knew right away. I was waiting till I actually had the official order from the judge because you never know what is actually just PR and what isn't. So let's just pull up that motion that just came in today. If my system wants to work. That's so funny. Oh my God. I go live and it's like nothing's cooperating. It just makes me laugh so much. Laugh, not laugh, but it is what it is. Okay, and we're back. Here we go. Here we are, and I wanted to have the chat, so I guess I got to keep YouTube open here for the chat, which is fine, I think. I guess if I have that open, then that's... Gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. I had everything literally all lined up and ready to go, and then when I tell you technology isn't my friend, and I wish I had an assistant where I was like, can you pull that up, please? And then they just pull it up. My life would be epic. Okay, so I can't have the chat open with that open. Okay, that's great. I love that for me. That's awesome. So we're just going to do this. Okay, here we go. So very plain and simple. This is the judge from today. He just said the court held a post-discovery status conference in the related matters of the Lively action and the Jones action today. And as indicated on the record at the conference, now that discovery is largely completed, parties in both cases are directed to contact the chambers of Magistrate Judge K for the purpose of exploring possible settlement. It says possible settlement because this is what always happens. You go through mediation first. You want to try, and the judge wants to try to get things settled before even having to go to court. That's normal. I've already seen headlines come out saying like, oh, possible, the judge wants them to settle. He doesn't care if they settle or not, okay? He's just saying to explore it. It literally says the next line under, the court expresses no view with respect to settlement, okay? Parties in both cases are directed to meet and confer regarding their anticipated motions for continued sealing, and to the extent possible to file a joint sealing letter on December 19th regarding documents and matters over which the parties agree sealing is appropriate. In line with prior practice, where the court orders any audio or visual materials unsealed, the parties who submitted the materials to the court are directed to provide CD copies of the clerk's office. What I would love, now that I know that Justin Baldoni recorded the phone call with Sean Levy, is that phone call where Sean Levy in pre-production, April, they didn't go to camera until May. In April of 2023, Sean Levy just calls Justin Baldoni to let him know how to work with Blake and pretty much let her have authorship, right, of everything in order to appease her and make her happy. So weird. Also, they recorded the phone call with WME where they are trying to get them to have an apology, a public apology. So those are the two calls I really, really, really want to hear now. So they have to give the CDs if there's anything like that. Oral argument regarding the Wayfair party's motion for judgment on the pleading and summary judgment and Lively's motion for spoliation sanctions is scheduled on January 22nd. So a long time. Trial in the Lively action is adjourned to May 18th at 9 a.m. and the final pre-trial conference is adjourned to April 21st. So we've been pushed 2 months. Okay, there's some other criminal cases that are happening, and those have to take precedent. Of course, I mean, as important as Blake Lively's case is, there's some serious stuff happening, right? In the Jones actions, the parties shall meet and confer and file a proposed schedule for the Jones party's motion to amend their complaint and motions for summary judgment. The parties should also discuss and propose a schedule for Jones Works' motion for bifurcation in the Lively action, which ideally will be fully submitted shortly after oral agreement in the Lively action on January 22nd. So it looks like the next important dates to look out for are December 19th. That's when we should get all of the other information. Now, he also did make a ruling on the motions to compel for the signal, these dang signal messages. Oh my gosh. And it's pretty straightforward. I mean, all he says in here is that he would like an in-camera review. So back and forth about these friggin' signal messages and the privilege log and all of that stuff. And he's just saying to the Wayfair people to provide all the redacted versions of the documents to the court for an in-camera review. And the Wayfair parties are directed to submit the materials to the court by December 11th. So finally, we can put these whole signal messages behind us. Okay? Now, let me have this open. Here we go. Drake is from like north of Toronto. That's what, like the 6. That's like his whole thing. Like the 6 is because it's like there's 6 little cities that surround Toronto, like 6 boroughs of Toronto. So that's where Drake's from, you know. So let's talk a little bit about PR. Okay, that's the next thing on the list. because oh no, yeah, okay, we'll talk about that quick, and then we'll talk about this move that Blake Lively also just did, which is kind of crazy. So Blake Lively had to resubmit documents to the court because she accidentally leaked somebody's phone number. And the phone number that she accidentally leaked was Stephanie motherfucking Jones's cell phone number. And it's funny because the attachment is still there. Like, I looked today to see if they actually removed the original one, and it's the first attachment. I'm not going to put it here because I don't like doxing people's information, even if she's my public enemy number one. But yeah, so that's kind of crazy that Blake would do that to Stephanie Jones. Like, I thought they were like in cahoots and colluding together. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about all that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a little weird, for sure. But out of all the cell phone numbers to get put to the public, I'm definitely happy that it's Stephanie Jones's. Like, for sure. That's a good thing. I'm going to see if there's a way that I can pull. If I could. I think I should just be able to do it here. Let's see. View document for Twitch. Pop out the chat from YouTube Studio. Copy its URL, then add it as a browser source. Yeah, okay. Pause. I'm just looking if I could quickly fix the chat to be in my streaming service, because on YouTube I see it's just a little bit behind, and I don't really like that. I want to be able to chat with y'all in real time. And click on the three dots in the chat window to select the pop-out chat, copy the URL. Okay, we're all going to learn something here today. Here we go. Pop-out chat. OMG, I think I got it. That's kind of crazy. Just like that. You got a problem? You can solve it. Okay. We're back. I'm back. I feel so much better with the chat right here. I couldn't see it for a while. I had to keep switching screens, and it was tripping me out, y'all. It was tripping me out. So I'm so happy that we're back. You know what I need after that stressful introduction? Lip gloss. Oh my gosh. That was crazy. If y'all don't think that I'm actually like serious when I say emotional support lip gloss, this is my desk. This is literally my desk, guys. It's kind of crazy. And they're all pretty much almost the same color, like pink. So this is how I live, okay? It's not a joke when I say I need my lip gloss, okay? Yeah, it was Stephanie Jones, and it was in one of her motions. It was in a bunch of a text change. It's attachment 38 in her newest filing. I think it was the response for summary judgment. And literally, it's a text change between the Wayfair defendants with Stephanie Jones, and her phone number is not redacted. It's kind of crazy. And they had to like apologize today to the court and like resubmit the redacted version. Kind of crazy. So Blake Lively is being quite interesting here, because also what she did is get a new lawyer. So she's added a new lawyer to the case. Her name is Melissa Touston. She works at Wilkie, so I'm sure she's been working on the case anyway. But like, girl, more lawyers. Like, is this a joke? This has to be crazy. It is, to me, it's a little bit nutty. I would think at this point she has all of the lawyers that she needs, and she should be looking at maybe trying to get out of this case instead, because, you know, now we know about the circumcision. She used that as him explaining or detailing his genitalia. The porn we know now is a home birth video. I mean, Jamie Heath even saying you're going to be birthed into this role, I guess now is sexual harassment. I mean, the house of cards is falling. It's pretty wild. And here she is adding new lawyers. I just don't know what to say anymore at this point when it comes to I don't know what she's going to do next. Like every time when I know for sure that when things are being filed or when there's bad PR, I know she's going to like crash out or be in public doing something. Like right now she just did that, like, come get a hot chocolate. Okay. That's great. We knew that's for PR because of some things that were already filed and what's happening right now. So it's just a little bit crazy, but adding a new lawyer at this stage in the game is quite an interesting move. Anyway, I'm just going to leave that there because, yeah, you could never guess Blake Lively's next move unless it's crashing out or doing really bad PR, which brings us to this really bad PR, which I'm going to bring up here, which is People Magazine, bright and early. They were quick on it. I wonder where they got their information. Not Blake Lively using the court as some kind of PR circus. That would be awful. But yes, it was reported super bright and early today that the trial has been postponed. Pretty interesting that this is how they got it. And they got it hours and hours and hours before it was even filed. Very interesting. I think it's a clear indication that Blake Lively definitely uses PR and People Magazine and mainstream media. Oh my God, not Justin Trudeau. Get out of here. Uses mainstream media obviously way more than the Wayfair people. I mean, it's just pretty obvious here that they had this. But then we do have Daddy-O of daddies, okay, Mr. Brian Freeman. He didn't just run to people and make a statement. He was walking out of the courtroom. And now whether this is staged or not, I mean, Brian Freeman was walking out of the courtroom and yeah, TMZ caught him. Let's play that clip. Just going to eBay is gosh, please.
Yeah, I was just wondering how did it go today?
Great.
Well, how's Justin holding up?
Justin's doing as well as he can, and
yeah,
he's hopeful and looks forward to a positive resolution of the case.
Awesome.
Look, I mean, he just looks
so
charming.
What is
extremely charming and relaxed and like a daddy, okay?
What is next? Like, what are you guys expecting next?
We expect to continue to, move forward with the case, and the judge made some rulings today that he'll make more public, and I'm sure you guys will be first to capture it because you always are.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, one last thing. So, how's like the family doing? Like Justin's wife, everybody.
They're obviously, they've been through a lot. It's been a very, very difficult year, and he's holding up as well as one can, hold up, and we're hopeful that when he gets, the right result here, that slowly he'll be back to the great man that he was, and I think he still is a wonderful person, and really meaningful, and just it's an unfortunate situation, and it'll be good to get him vindication.
Right. Thank you so much for your.
Yeah, you heard that right. It will be good to get him vindication. Let's go. Let's start that. But I guess we're going to have to wait now until, January. Thank you so much, Nunu. It's so nice to see you. Stephanie, nice that you're here. Jungle, Copper, oh my God. Christina, so many of you. It's so nice to be here. So you heard him. It's going to be good to get him vindication. But even he didn't say anything to TMZ like, oh, the judge said the trial is going to be pushed ahead. Oh, this. He just said the judge made some orders today that he will release. But funny how the other side, it got leaked from someone. So, that's all I'm going to say about that, because it's just very weird to always be crying wolf all the time. Like, they're using it for PR, and it's like, no, we obviously know exactly what's happening here. Okay, so now the biggies, okay, the doozies of it all. We are going to get into Blake Lively's motion, her response for this spoliation, and oh wow, it's something. It's something. I read it last night, and there were some parts where I was utterly confused, and then another part definitely where I was like, this don't make no sense, and that's not at all actually what happened after you read all the depositions and you actually see for your own eyes. So without any further ado, we're going to get into Lively's motion, because it's a little bit on the longer side. I think her and Stephanie Jones's are around like 20 something pages, and then Stephanie motherfucking Jones has filed today a re-amendment, which amending the cases, the deadline was, I think, early in the summer, like spring, summertime. I don't know how that's going to go for her or what she's thinking, but she did it. So, okay, very interesting. And she wants to add new defendants, but we'll get there when we get there. Okay, first we need to talk about Miss Snake Lively, because her lawyers are playing all sorts of games, and it's pretty interesting when we get to it, in my opinion, of course, but I'm sure you guys will catch it too, because y'all have been following the case just as closely. So hers is actually 15 pages, which isn't too bad. It shouldn't take too long, but I do want to get to a couple of things in this motion. I want to make sure that this is Blake skis here, okay? Blake, down to the front, please. You're first. And I don't know what's going on here with my thing. Oh, okay. Occur. Okay, we're just going to do this, I think. Oh my gosh. What is happening? Okay. Oh gosh, life. Technology is my friend. If you keep saying it over and over, then it has to come true, right? Technology is my friend. I may stumble, but I'll keep getting up. Okay. So this is Plaintiff Blake Lively's reply memorandum of law and further support of motion for spoliation sanctions. So just going through, it was like she wants to have severe, actually she says it here, the most severe sanctions on Wayfair, because they didn't retain any of their text messages since November of 2023, when she gave the 17-point list of demands, and further since August of 2024. To me, this can all be solved, because if you wanted them to retain information when you filed Van Zandt and when you were colluding with Stephanie motherfucking Jones for a month before filing Van Zandt, instead of subpoenaing through your inactive, shady company Van Zandt to John Doe's and serving it to Jones Works, you could have just served it to the Wayfair defendants. As soon as you made that first phone call to Stephanie motherfucking Jones and asked her for Abel's phone, you could have sent like a notice to anticipate trial to the Wayfair people, and then you would have all of the messages that you could ever wanted. But you didn't do that. You were unethical, you were shady, you were immoral. On my part, I think even just a little corrupt. Like, it's kind of gross what y'all did, because all the way up until mid this year, even the Wayfair defendants didn't even know about Van Zandt. They had no idea how you even got the messages. So why would they be retaining messages when they didn't even know how you got the other messages? This is the opposition, okay? In their opposition, defendants admit that they took no steps to preserve ephemeral communications prior to December 20th, 2024, and that these communications have been irretrievably destroyed. The ephemeral communications facilitated a means by which defendants could speak quickly, candidly, and most importantly, covertly. As Melissa Nathan acknowledged, when we send over documents, we can't send over the whole work, or we could do, because that could get us in a lot of trouble. Now, she's saying that using signal messages means that they could speak quickly and candidly. Yes, so are emails, so are text messages, so are WhatsApp, so are DMs. I mean, that's why you send it, so you can speak quickly. So I feel like there's a lot of word salad here to make it sound even better than it is. But usually any kind of text message is for quick use. So I have just some issues with this whole motion, but anyway, none of defendants' excuses for their failure to preserve past muster. First, defendants' argument that they anticipated litigation only as to Ms. Lively's harassment claims, but not retaliation, is entirely disingenuous and plainly wrong on the facts of the law. It ignores the fact that in November 9th of 2023 protections document, Ms. Lively cautioned Wayfair against retaliation in its many possible forms, including changes in attitude, sarcasm, marginalization, or other negative behavior, either on set or otherwise, including during publicity and promotional work, and warned such conduct would be met with immediate action. Right, but it wasn't immediate action because you filed in December. So it wasn't like in August you thought the retaliation took place and then you filed. It was actually over 4 months later. So even if they did do a whole smear campaign in August or the first week of August, you didn't file till the end of December. So it wasn't immediate action. Okay, that's already there. And actually that protections to work document said instead of a more formal route, sign this piece of document and then we're all good. So already their wording here is not even what it actually says on the document, okay? Instead of heeding this warning, defendants treated it like a roadmap and promptly set about retaliating in each of the ways described. So sarcasm, marginalization, and negative behavior and changes of attitude. That's, I guess, what she's saying. That's how they did it immediately. The protections document, which each defendant received, along with others referenced in the motion, provided as much notice of potential litigation on the issue of retaliation as did of harassment. Second, in a cynical attempt to benefit from their own misconduct, defendants argue that Ms. Lively has failed to demonstrate the contents of the destroyed ephemeral communications, but Rule 37E does not require such a showing, nor could it, since it would enable bad actors to avoid liability for their wrongdoing by using their own destructive activities as a shield. Obviously, the contents cannot be demonstrated because they were destroyed. That's the whole point. Third, defendants argue that Ms. Lively has not suffered prejudice because she noted there is substantial evidence of retaliatory conduct, and as such, the lost communications would be unnecessarily cumulative. Right, all year long, Blake Lively's own lawyers, even up there on CNN, was saying they have a substantial amount of evidence. Where is it? Because obviously you don't, okay? Because you need these signal messages. But defendants ignore their own repeated and loud proclamations that they did nothing to further any digital campaign and were only monitoring if unchecked. They could describe this monitoring in whatever way they want, safe from the risk of impeachment by contrary documentary evidence, having conveniently destroyed it. They didn't destroy it. Signal destroys it, it automatically destroys, okay? Period. This is textbook prejudice, which can only be mitigated by a limiting instruction. Finally, Defendants' argument that they lacked the requisite intent ignores each of their own admissions that they anticipated litigation no later than August 2024 and took no steps to preserve these destroyed documents or these destroyed communications. This to me was kind of crazy because they're talking about in the deposition when they asked Justin Baldoni. And there's a few texts that's like, damn, we need a lawyer now. Contact Brian. Like, we should get a litigator. Yeah. Do you know how many content creators have thought that Blake Lively is going to come after them? And she did. Do you know how many times I think after I post a video, especially when I was doing deep dives on WME, Ari Emanuel, Stephanie motherfucking Jones, all of this Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds, I did think, oh, damn, I'm going to get a cease and desist. Or like, oh, no, what if after all of this, if Blake Lively fails, right? If she doesn't win her case, if next she sues all of the content creators for, talking bad about her and defaming her or whatever. I don't want to give her any ideas, actually. That is something I can see Blake Lively doing. But I hope, sometimes I feel like they're watching, I always feel like. But just because I've thought that might happen, does that mean that ever since I started following this case, I should be preserving all my evidence? That doesn't make sense. You can anticipate, or you can think like, okay, let me get all my chips in order in case. And then when 4.5 months go by, nothing happens. Then what, right? So it's kind of a strange argument in that way, because just because you have a thought that this might go to court doesn't mean that there's any reason for that thought to actually materialize and become reality. In fact, defendants confirm that at any point, Signal chats could have been preserved with the flick of a switch. Their decision not to was deliberate, and the very reason they used Signal, warranting severe sanctions. Okay? Severe sanctions. And what I think is crazy is they only all started using Signal because of Jed Wallace. And Stephanie Jones actually uses Signal. I'm sure Leslie Sloan uses Signal. So they all moved to Signal because that's Jed Wallace's preferred form of communication. So they kind of omit that here and think that, oh, they all just decided to do it. They only did it to speak with Jed, okay? The undisputed record confirms each defendant had a duty to preserve ephemeral communications and no reasonable steps were taken. Defendants' opposition confirms they took no steps to preserve their ephemeral communications. Instead, they argue that they had no duty to preserve. Yeah, that's right, okay? Yeah, everyone used Signal. This argument not only ignores settled Second Circuit precedent, but also Miss Lively's unrebutted evidence. So I had some questions there, because if you have unrebutted evidence, then what's good? Where's the evidence, girl? Because so far we don't see nothing. Okay, and everything that you've redacted as evidence when it's been unsealed literally has been the most misleading liar pants on fire I've ever seen. So it's like, where's the evidence? You say that you have it here, but ain't no way nobody's seen anything. We haven't even seen one text change from you. Nothing, okay? Among other things, defendants do not dispute and therefore concede that Wayfarer, It Ends With Us, Baldoni, Saritz, Heath, and Abel received the protections document in November 2023, and that the protections document constituted a demand letter for preservation purposes. Okay. Defendants also did not dispute that in their written interrogatory responses, they admitted that litigation was possible. It was possible because of the takeover of the movie and the public apology. Yeah, litigation is always possible. I could have a server knock at my door right now and subpoena me for anything. Of course, it's always possible. Okay, so yes, they thought maybe it was possible, but These admissions confirmed that by no later than mid-August 2024 and as early as November 2023, a duty to preserve was triggered. I am not buying it, and I don't think the judge will either, because that is a joke. Yeah, exactly, Jeanette. That's not a duty to preserve. It even said in the letter, and we can pull it up, in the letter, in lieu of a formal HR process, I'm sending you this list of demands. So she didn't even want an HR process. She didn't even want a formal HR complaint, but they're supposed to think that that means it's litigation. She didn't even want to make a formal complaint at the time. So it's like, what is going on here? What is actually happening? You're absolutely right. None of this is contested by defendants. Rather, the crew of their argument rests on the dubious assertion that the only litigation that could have been anticipated in August of 2024 involved Lively's objections in Phase 1, which somehow excuses them from any preservation of obligations. Yeah, why would they think that anything else other than her objections in Phase 1 would be litigation? In Phase 2, everything was fine. And when she could have walked away, she texted Justin Baldoni, I'm so excited to get back on this project. I can't wait to work with you again. Please, please, please let me in the edit room. I'll be a good passenger. I'm invaluable on my recall alone. Please. And then she took the movie over. So it's like, yeah, they anticipated some litigation, because as soon as there was a little bit of pushback, who knows what she would have put in the press, okay? First, defendants' contention that their duty to preserve was limited only to Miss Lively's harassment claims find no legal support in fact. They cite no authority for this extremely narrow interpretation of duty to preserve, nor could they. Courts within the circuit have repeatedly recognized that this duty is a broad concept that applies to all relevant documents, which in this case would clearly encompass Miss Lively's retaliation claims. The duty to preserve requires a party to preserve evidence that may be relevant to future litigation, which is an extremely broad concept. Second, any actions taken in response to the protections document and communications relating to the anticipated plaintiff, Miss Lively, should have been preserved. Illustrating this point, during a July 25th, 2024 meeting between TAG and Wayfair, specifically defendant Heath and Tara Hanks, Wayfair discussed, among other things, redacted. By July 2024, defendants are still discussing Miss Lively's harassment claims, now in the context of a crisis PR strategy designed to proactively prevent defendants Baldoni and Heath from being redacted. Why would that be redacted? Okay, what is it? Guilty, creeps? What do you, this word, one word you're redacting anyway. And because retaliation was plainly an issue that defendants were warned would be the subject of any litigation, they cannot now pretend they did not understand that in the midst of undertaking the precise retaliatory conduct about which they had been warned. In fact, they understood the risks perfectly well, which is why they repeatedly stressed the need to avoid putting things in writing, and further why they moved to Signal to cover their tracks and avoid creating a litigation record. Again, all of the defendants had said they used Signal because that's Jed Wallace's only form of communication. They're really omitting that part, and I think it's a critical part. Also, Justin Baldoni said that he only used Signal like twice, and it was really Jamie Heath and Jennifer Abel and Tara Hanks communicating. Steve Saritz did not, and neither did Justin Baldoni. But of course, they omit that as well. Finally, defendants argue that there is no evidence that prior to December 2024 that Nathan had reason to anticipate litigation involving her crisis management activities on behalf of the Wayfair defendants. This argument ignores the fact that, one, by early June 2024, Wayfair was assembling a timeline document of each alleged incident that involved Miss Lively, as well as zingers intended to attack Miss Lively's reputation. This document, which is effectively a litigation roadmap, says who? Says you? No one thinks it's effectively a litigation roadmap. They literally made it in order to send it to their crisis PR team. And they've said that in their depositions. So I don't know where she thinks or they think that they can just write that it's effectively a litigation roadmap to you, but not to them. And it doesn't look that way at all, because if it was a litigation roadmap, they would have sued you for extortion and for all of the stuff that they try, and defamation, all of the stuff, right? So it's like, anyway, that was provided to TAG, Abel, and Nathan. Exactly. It wasn't provided to any of their lawyers. It wasn't provided to a litigant. It wasn't provided to anyone except for their PR team, which says that it's not a litigation roadmap, but instead a timeline of all the crises that happened with Blake Lively. 2. The TAG defendants were aware of Miss Lively's harassment complaints by June 17th, 2025, when the TAG defendants received, I think that's supposed to be June 17th, 2024, not 25, but when the TAG defendants received a copy of the productions document, and no later than July 25th, 2024. So that's a mistake. 3. The TAG defendants themselves acknowledged this litigation was anticipated by mid-August 2024 and knew that they needed to cover their tracks. And 5. The TAG defendants were responsible for facilitating meetings with Mr. Freeman when litigation was forthcoming. Because there's one text from Nathan saying, I'll get a hold of Brian. But again, they admitted that they hadn't actually talked to Brian during that time. It was Jed and Melissa Nathan. We move on. Just full of, it gets worse. Okay, it gets worse. Ignoring all relevant context. Actually, let me move this a little bit over here. I wonder if I can just make it bigger. What do you guys think about this? I'm just trying to fix the screen here to show all of my stuff. I wonder if I can do it like this. Oh, there we go. Oh my God, I'm a genius. Yeah, they put the wrong date in, which is very strange. So it goes from June 17th, 2025 to July 25th, 2024. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But, you know, we'll piece it together, okay? We'll piece it together. Ignoring all relevant context, defendants argue that there is not a whit of evidence that the war referenced by Miss Nathan was linked to Lively's discrimination claims. But defendants omit from their papers that this reaction to go to war was made in response to Miss Lively's request that defendants Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair issue a public statement apologizing for their misconduct on set, which followed a vicious and viral online hate campaign directed not just at Miss Lively, but other female cast members. That was confounding given the film's remarkable box office success. Text message from Abel to Nathan, redacted. Text message from Miss Toskovic to Heath sharing the draft statement. What? There's so much to uncover in this one paragraph, okay? It's kind of crazy. First of all, I feel like they're listening to us because it was the content creators that actually, you know, with the timeline. And I realized this when I put that whole timeline together months and months ago, that was the day that it said, let's go to war. That was the day of the public apology. This is the first time, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time that Blake Lively has mentioned the public apology. This is the first time that I know of in her documents that she has actually admitted to wanting them to do a public apology. So at this point, I feel like they're grasping for straws because that's crazy. And also, what? Now there was a viral online hate campaign Not just for Blake Lively, but now all the other female cast members. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. When did this happen? This is a whole new argument. Where are the other female cast members at this point? Why didn't you guys do a class action? Why didn't all of you together come together if it was so bad, do something together? But now it was towards other female cast members. This is also a new argument. So it's the first time she brought up the public apology, and now this is a new argument that also there was a smear campaign against all of the other female cast members. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Copper, her and Ryan Reynolds wrote out a big public apology for Wayfair to say to everyone to take responsibility for a horrible set or something crazy, and they're going to be man enough. What a joke. Yeah, exactly, Eliza. They need proof. Where's the evidence? I didn't see any smearing done to anybody else except to Blake Lively, who continued to open her mouth and say the most unhinged, ridiculous things, including her husband writing the rooftop scene. Okay, it's just so nuts. Like, I don't think they understand that maybe some people just have their own opinions and like just didn't like the way that they were going around. Like, I even remember, I think it was Jenny Slate, Colleen Hoover, Blake Lively, and Isabel Ferrer. They were introducing the movie, right? So they all sat on a couch and they were talking, and they were supposed to be talking about It Ends With Us, and it was supposed to be promotion for the movie. And they talked about like horses, and they talked about like really just ridiculous things. Never talked about It Ends With Us, never talked about DV, never talked about the movie. And then even at the end, they were all laughing with each other, being like, oh, I guess we didn't even talk about the movie, huh? Anyway, go see it. It's like, no. How about no? Okay, we continue. The undisputed record establishes that each defendant used Signal and that ephemeral communications once existed. Defendants attempt to pass blame onto Miss Lively for purportedly failing to demonstrate that defendants deleted Signal chats, evidencing that they executed the public relations crisis management strategy. But defendants' argument on this score turns Rule 37 standard on its head. Ms. Lively is not required to provide the contents of the communications defendants destroyed, but only their existence. Issuing spoliation sanctions and adverse inference because neither Apple nor the court may ever know the contents of any destroyed Samsung emails. And then indeed in another court case, the court issued spoliation sanctions under Rule 37E, notwithstanding the nature of the deletions, making it impossible to identify with certainty what documents were destroyed. Put simply, the applicable inquiry here is whether relevant ESI existed and was destroyed. The answer to each question is yes. No, the answer is, did they have to preserve records from November of 2023? No, they did not. As soon as you can't win that argument, everything else falls short. Did they have to preserve records from August of 2024? No, they did not. Therefore, everything else you say, there's no argument to. There is overwhelming proof that defendants spoliated communications. Each defendant admitted in interrogatory responses to using Signal to discuss, among other things, the digital campaign, Miss Lively, Mr. Reynolds, or the film. Mr. Reynolds just had to sneak in there. Emphasis added, of course. Further, the Wallace parties admitted to the existence of these communications and further explained that by operation of Signal's auto-deletion settings, any potentially responsive messages were deleted as a matter of course. Yeah, that's what Signal does, babes. Why I think they're fighting so hard for these Signal messages is because I think they were using Signal and probably talking way worse than Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath. Therefore, they think that, hey, if we were monsters in our Signal messages, they have to be the exact same. This court has already found that it is undisputed that the Wayfair parties used Signal to discuss topics relevant to this litigation. Discovery has only bolstered this court's prior findings. 1. In party productions, documents were produced demonstrating the creation and use of Signal threads to discuss issues relating to the retaliatory campaign as early as August 7th, 2024. And 2. At their respective depositions, defendant Heath, Nathan, and Abel, so only them, not Saritz, not Baldoni, each testified to using Signal during the relevant period of time. These facts render the entire laundry list of cases cited by defendants inopposite, each of which turned on the Movens' failure to demonstrate the purportedly spoliated documents even existed. Okay. Defendant spoliation has prejudiced Miss Lively because what happened to the substantial amount of evidence in order to already have this case? I guess that's out the window because now this is where we're at. It's kind of silly, honestly. Just gonna try to, I guess I messed it up now. Fix it a little bit more here. I like that better. Oh, 1 second. I got a puppy that needs out. You can go. There you go. There you go, cutie. Okay. Here we go. Defendant spoliation has prejudiced Miss Lively. The evidence shows that defendants, along with the Wallace parties, turned to Signal in or around mid-August 2024 at the latest. At the same time, the digital campaign was underway. The few documents that were preserved and produced by the Wallace parties illustrate their abilities to, among other things, manipulate social media engagement and website traffic for clients, as well as how easily they were able to conceal their hand in those efforts. That the key ephemeral communications, including those with the Wallace parties, were not preserved establishes clear prejudice to Miss Lively and deprives her of the ability to test and rebut the counter-narratives that defendants have continued to advance. In their opposition, defendants do not address the examples of prejudice identified by Miss Lively. Instead, they focus on the substantial evidence referenced in the opening brief and argues that this somehow rebuffs the notion of prejudice. But again, defendants miss the point. They have compromised Miss Lively's ability to rebut and refute defendants' defenses. This is especially so with respect to their assertion that the only work they were doing is monitoring, which courts, including this court, have recognized as establishing prejudice. Then they quote a bunch of laws and cases that has happened to. Miss Lively has been deprived of the digital trail that would allow her to test, counter, and contextualize defendants' insistent that they did nothing other than monitoring. Finally, relying upon Rule 403 of the Federal Rules of Evidence, defendants argue that there is no prejudice since the ephemeral communications that they failed to preserve would be needlessly cumulative. But the loss of needlessly cumulative evidence in and of itself supports a finding of prejudice. Even if cumulative spoliated evidence can cause substantial prejudice since it deprives a party of the ability to present the overwhelming quantity of evidence it otherwise would have to support its case. Now we get to something, okay? Thank you, Copper. Yeah, hit that like button, y'all. Hit the like. Now we get here, which is kind of nuts because now not only are they sanctioning the Wayfair defendants, but they want to sanction Jed Wallace, now a non-party, and Wayfair have to pay that too. That's just some of the craziest things. You get a sanction and you get a... First it was subpoenas and now it's sanctions. But yes, so she wants the Wayfair parties to now pay. They are responsible for Wallace party's spoliation. Oh, hi, Jill. Welcome. I'm happy that you're here. We're pretty much covering at this point just Blake Lively's motion for spoliation. It's a little nutty, okay? She wants Jed Wallace to, or the Wayfair parties to pay for Jed Wallace's sanctions. So let's get into this. Wallace party spoliation. Courts in this circuit have held that a party may be liable for spoliation based on the actions of a non-party within his or her control. Issuing preclusion sanctions based on non-parties' failure to preserve medical records. The concept of control has been construed broadly, and documents are considered to be under a party's control if the party has the practical ability to obtain the documents from another, irrespective of this legal entitlement. While determining control is not an exact science, courts have taken a common sense approach. I love that they're using common sense, because is common sense saying Jamie Heath said that you're going to be birthed into the role sexual harassment and perversive? Is showing someone a home birth porn and then you bringing it up almost 2 years later common sense? Is using the word sexy around someone sexual harassment? Is that common sense? But no, they want to take the common sense approach. Right, okay. Third-party documents were within plaintiff's practical control, notwithstanding absence of legal control, since there is little doubt that third party would have complied with a timely request by the plaintiff to preserve its information. The court's decision in Ronnie Van Zant is instructive. There, the court determined control was established for spoliation purposes, where the non-party, one, was contracted to work for the defendant on a film underlying the litigation, 2, had been working closely with the defendant for over the past year, and 3, actively participated in discovery, and 4, had a financial interest in the outcome of the litigation. Upon finding control, the court held spoliation sanctions were appropriate against the defendant based upon the non-party's actions, which included getting a new phone after plaintiffs brought the instant action and managing to back up pictures but somehow not text messages. Here, the relationship between Wayfair and the Wallace parties supports a similar common sense finding that the Wallace parties' ephemeral communications were within Wayfair's control. Among other things, 1, Wayfair hired the Wallace parties to support Wayfair's crisis PR team. 2, Wayfair paid the Wallace parties for their redacted. 3, Wayfair and the Wallace parties shared the same counsel, Liner, Freeman, Tailman, and Cooley LLP. Mr. Freeman has been with the Wallace party's lawyer. Why is that redacted? I think it's been years he's been Jed Wallace's lawyer. It was in Jed Wallace's own deposition. And Wayfair is redacted. Since at least August 11th, Wayfair knew of Wallace's use of Signal. As such, the Wayfair parties should remain liable for the Wallace party's separate spoliation. Defendants intended to deprive Miss Lively of discoverable evidence. I don't think they thought it was going to get this far. I didn't think they thought that you were as crazy as we now know you are. I thought probably they thought, oh my God, after August, we never have to see those crazies again. I don't think they really thought it was going to get to where it got. You know what I'm saying? Defendants intended to deprive Miss Lively. Sure. Defendants ignore almost entirely the evidence presented by Miss Lively that demonstrates their intentional use of ephemeral communications as part of their untraceable plan. Instead, they point to steps they took to preserve Signal communications after December 20th. Right. As soon as they got the cease and desist and the right to sue letter with the CRD complaint, they preserved. Immediately, they all say they got a call from their lawyer and said they preserved everything. So if you wanted it preserved, you should have gave them the Van Zandt lawsuit, but you didn't. You're shady, and now you're trying to backtrack for your own unethical behavior. It's crazy. So for them saving their documents from December 20th, as disproving the notion that they acted with culpable intent. Defendants admit that they were always capable of preserving these communications, but only began taking the appropriate preservation steps once the lawsuit was filed. This does not excuse them of wrongdoing, but is in fact further proof of their conscious dereliction of a known duty to preserve electronic data. Further, I don't know why she keeps saying that she has all of this evidence, but anyway. Further, the unrebutted record unequivocally demonstrates that defendants acted with the requisite level of intent for purposes of Rule 37E sanctions. Each of the factors identified by Moody are established. Ephemeral communications existed and would have been relevant to this dispute. Defendants took no steps to preserve their ephemeral communications despite anticipating litigation, and there is no credible explanation for the lost ephemeral communications as not involving bad faith. The timing of defendants' use of signal communications removes all doubt as to bad faith by mid-August 2024. Defendants knew litigation was reasonably foreseeable and made the deliberate decision to then communicate through ephemeral channels. In fact, they expressly acknowledged the need to cover their tracks, knowing that documenting their actual work could get us in a lot of trouble. This demonstrates bad faith. It's just so nuts, because why would they think in August that it would get to where it's got now? I don't think anyone could have seen it coming. If defendants were truly engaged in run-of-the-mill PR work, there would be no reason to think that their activities, if exposed, could have gotten them in a lot of trouble. This sentence itself, standalone sentence, is crazy, because when the case first started, the things that they were fighting for attorney eyes only was mostly Leslie Sloan and Stephanie motherfucking Jones, because they didn't want any of their PR tactics, any of the things that they do, any of their client list, anything like that, sealed. Like, they needed that all sealed. So nobody wants any of the work that they do in PR to come out. And I'm positive Leslie Sloan uses Signal. Jed Wallace does, Melissa Nathan does, and Stephanie motherfucking Jones does too. They all use Signal. So where's your texts, Blake? Huh? So crazy. Instead, their own documents confirm that an integral part of the crisis management strategy was that it be executed without fingerprints. Defendants used ephemeral communications as part of their retaliatory digital campaign as to avoid being used against them as part of a legal claim. This is precisely the type of misconduct Rule 37E2 is intended to address. Ugh, dang. Yeah, Men Are Canceled. Great name. I heard that too. Like, Stephanie Jones was caught shoplifting or something. Oh, that's crazy. This is my guilty pleasure, cold cans of Pepsi. If y'all want to know anything about me, lip gloss and Pepsi make me happy. But that's kind of crazy. I want to go to one of their footnotes because it was a complete lie. And then we'll move on to Stephanie motherfucking Jones. I think we're making pretty good time. No, Aunt Lala. Stephanie Jones is next. Don't worry. You're good. We're probably going until about 8 o'clock. Maybe 8, a little bit later than 8. But it'll be on the live replays. This is the footnote that literally my jaw was on the ground last night. I couldn't believe this footnote, because if you watched or if you read, if you watched the video where I did Justin Baldoni's deposition, thank you. But if you read it, then you know that this is a bold-faced lie. And I'm going to literally break it down. As for Baldoni, he testified that he used Signal to talk to a support group prior to December 2024. But the evidence in this case has shown that he sent texts to his support group directly about the harassment allegations in November 2023 and January 2024 at minimum. It defies reasons to suggest that he was talking with his support group in the fall of 2024 on Signal in the height of this dispute and never once discussed Lively. What's crazy here is they don't say whether the group of friends that he was talking to was the same support group that he was trying to get into. This is a conclusion that they've reached on their own. And what's funny is this is why I think her lawyers are, I don't know if they dropped the ball on here or if they actually like just hate her or they don't know how PR works, because they never attached the deposition of Justin Baldoni where he's talking about the support group. So I think that was on purpose. So if the judge doesn't read all the depositions, then maybe he won't know. He'll just take their word for it. But they did attach the text chain of Justin Baldoni with his friends, which now, if anybody in the media were to go and read this motion and get that attachment, it's going to look very bad for Blake, and we're going to go over the attachment. I think that's why Blake Lively is out here selling hot chocolate. I think that's why she leaked to the press that the court trial has been moved up and she's doing PR and crisis management overtime, because this is a lie. This isn't true. And we're going to bring up the portion of Justin Baldoni's deposition, which will prove that he never says that the group that he was texting to is this support group. This is, I found one of the craziest things, and I'm going to pull it up right now. If I can. Let's see. You know, I had it all ready to go, and then my system just crashed, and that makes me so mad. Let's see. Well, how are you guys all doing? I'm just going to be pulling up this stuff here, so it's going to get a little messy. I'm just going to go off screen for 2 minutes, but I'm still here. Okay, here it is. So this isn't even what they put, and this is very important. I feel like for sure that they could have put, if they were actually telling the truth, they would have put this, but they didn't. And that's how I know that they're liar, liar, pants on fire. How did I just lose the... There we go. This is what they were talking about when Justin Baldoni talked about the Signal messages, okay? It says he's talking about how when he used the Signal messages. So it says he recalls 2 different times that I had downloaded the app. The first time I never heard of Signal. The first time I ever heard of Signal was from Stephanie motherfucking Jones. And I don't know how long ago that was. I feel like this was, if I close my eyes sometimes because I visualize. So I understand where I am. I believe it was I think it was around 2020. She had told me that it was her preferred method of communication, but we never communicated on Signal. And then I think your phone just gets rid of it when you don't use it. And then I downloaded it again. I joined a men's group and they had their group on Signal, but then I was unable to join. Officially the men's group, so I never joined the group on Signal. And then it was just kind of like an app that was there. And then I downloaded it probably the day after or 2 days after the New York Times article in the lawsuit. So they're saying that the men's group, right? He wasn't able to join the men's group. Is fine. Okay. But then why are they saying that and then what they put is the men's group, which I'm going to get to, which is so crazy. The text that they drop versus what actually happened is the nuttiest thing you'll ever see. Because, and in this deposition, it didn't move, it didn't skip like that unless they revisit it somewhere else in time. This was the only time that they asked him about his Signal messages. And now this is what they put as the attachment. Oh my gosh, it's just so nutty. Bear with me. Here we go. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Download. Okay. So this is the exhibit that they attached to prove that this is his men's support group. And now we've all seen this group chat. This is when he was talking to all of his friends. So I think this is either to call out Adam Moonshin, okay, which is the OBGYN who played the doctor, or Rainn Wilson, who's a very, very famous actor. But this is the group chat. This is where he was talking to them. This was on January 5th of 2024, where he was just saying the things that have been happening, right? Everything that happened after the meeting, how it was so bad for him, and exactly that he knew, honestly, that they were trying to take the movie over from the start, okay? He knew exactly why they were doing this. This doesn't look good for Blake Lively at all, because actually Justin knew from the word go that whole meeting, that all hands meeting and all of her concerns and stuff was because she was trying to take the movie over and have something on hold something on him. And he felt the extortion and the takeover already since, way before. So this is what they're saying is the men's support group. But if you go back to Justin Baldoni's deposition, it doesn't say that this is the men's support group. He actually says that this is just a group of friends that he relies on. They all share the same faith, whatever. So they're literally saying in their own complaint, I feel like it's a lie. Like they're putting pieces together that have that don't make any sense and was never said. And I hope the judge really catches it, or I'm sure Wayfair, will come out and say something about it, because if you go to the footnote after seeing that and after reading his deposition, it says that he testified that he used Signal to talk to a support group prior to December. But the evidence in this case has shown that he sent texts to his support group directly about the harassment allegations. But how do you know those are the same support groups? That was just a group of guys that he's talking to that are his besties. Maybe he was trying to join like an actual men's support group. Do you know what I'm saying? So to me, this is very, I don't know. It's very sketchy, at least. I don't know if it's a bold-faced lie. I don't know if they meant to like misconstrue the truth, but I caught it right away because I remember reading that in Justin Baldoni's deposition. And it's very, very weird because they're literally twisting his words. And he never says that text message, like that text change, is the men's support group that he was trying to join on Signal. So they're trying to, that to me, it's just like conclusory. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how they figured it out. Again, unless there was deposition, they revisited it maybe and they haven't sealed it, but they don't file anything else from Justin's deposition. None of the other attachments have anything to do with this point, and that's why I think they put this in here as like a little trick to either bring Rainn Wilson and Adam Munchin into PR, or just to like straight up lie to the judge. I don't know. I just like, what do you guys think? Like, it's kind of weird. And they say also that he went to that support group to talk about the harassment. That's what it says. Directly about the harassment allegations. Okay, let's just read that text change and see exactly if that's what he was talking about. He does talk about the concerns that Lively brought up, but I think it's a lot more about, the takeover of the movie and what he's been dealing with. But this is the actual text change, which says, sorry for not giving an update. Last night was one of the hardest nights of my life. It's hard to describe what happened exactly. The only way to describe it was an ambush. I had no words. I couldn't formulate sentences. My brain was trying to defend itself when they were needing me to apologize for all the ways I have fucked up and made her feel unsafe. Ryan was talking to me like a 5-year-old and scolding me. They essentially said that Jamie and I are not who we claimed to be, and that for us to have a podcast is unsafe because it makes people feel like we are unsafe. I was read from a phone all of the things that I did, while many of them were based in actual situations. The events were wrong and the things were taken completely out of context. The word creepy and abuse were used in reference to me and my behavior. I was then given the words of what to say and had apologized, which I was unable to do because my brain was trying to comprehend what was happening. I was in shock and basically went into feeling like I was a 7-year-old again when I got home last night. I was emotionally paralyzed. It was as bad as it sounds. Jamie did a beautiful job apologizing. I did not have the words. I was embarrassed for myself as it happened in front of the team, but I was embarrassed that I was unable to even formulate the correct words to apologize, and honestly, just like a bad person. It's hard to feel so much of what they believe about me is false because they are so convinced that it's real. Looking for the nuggets of learning, which there are many, and somehow have showed up today, thanks to Jamie and my wife, and we are currently shooting. I love you all. My brain was just struggling because what I wanted to say and do was run and blow this whole movie up because I feel this was so unjust, and yet the only path forward was to acknowledge her and Ryan's feelings and apologize and take the wrath of an angry husband. Yeah, I couldn't even do that correctly. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed for the words, and it didn't come, so I felt abandoned by God in that moment, even though I know that's not what happened. We were told this was the worst experience of her life, and others have witnessed this behavior, and the behavior on our set was creepy. I was emotionally paralyzed, which is something I haven't experienced in years. At Rainn, imagine that meeting all those years ago at Soul Pancake with Goal Riz, but times that by 100. I spoke to my therapist for an hour, and she tried to get me out of the haze as I literally could not get myself off the couch. I don't know how I will make it through, but I know that I will. And just knowing that you're all there for me means the world to me, because even with Jamie here and my wife and family, I've never felt so alone. Putting a smile on, doing my best to lead the crew. I will unpack and process this when we wrap, of course. I apologize for the vulnerability dump. This is one of the few safe spaces I have right now. I love you all and thank you for your prayers. Then they literally say you were ambushed. I can't believe it. That's how he starts. I was ambushed. So it's like, okay. And then how do you, that's what they put in there. That's the attachment they put. Okay. But they don't put an attachment from his deposition that actually correlate this text group with it being the support group of Signal messages. That's a lie. It's a lie. It's kind of crazy. And why would they only put this attachment? This does not look good for Miss Blake Lively. if the media, once the media gets off of this hot chocolate and the court being extended and whatever other crisis PR they're going to try to spin this week, and they actually get to this exhibit, it doesn't look good. Especially when you don't have the other evidence to back it up that this was the support group that he tried to download signal from. And I know it's not even that big of a deal because it doesn't really prove things either way, but it's a lie. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, why would you say that without the like, you have the truth, why not use the truth? Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about this whole thing. I caught that and I was like, that's some crazy stuff, because if you're even going to lie about the depositions that we've already read and that we already know about, what else are you lying about? You feel me? Yeah, well, Jeanette, you're right. He talked to his therapist. I wonder if they're going to try to depose her or subpoena her. I mean, they subpoenaed their lawyers. They're trying to get Brian Freeman, like all of this stuff. And I know that that's just like a little thing and it was in the footnote. But I mean, if the judge just looks at that and then looks at the text thread of the thing that they attached, you know, any person reading that without actually reading Justin's full deposition, which they did not attach, are going to think, oh, they're going to take that as true. But then when you go to Justin's deposition, he said, oh, he tried to join a support group. Well, this group that he's talking to are some of his friends that have been friends with him for a very, very long time, 10 plus years, 15 plus years. So that's not the support group that he was trying to, you know, to reach, or maybe it was, but that's not the information that we have thus far. Yeah, Christina, you're right. I mean, they do lie about everything. I mean, that's the truth. I just thought that was like, I was reading that last night and I was like, hold the phone. Wait a second. Okay. Wait a second. Okay. Your argument, first of all, is weak because the protections letter said in lieu of an HR investigation, we're going to sign this document. And everything did go fine until who started smearing first? Blake Lively. Okay, her camp came out first. I don't know why they're going to try to like fight that. I feel like their lawyers just went through this with Drake. I mean, I know I've said that a couple of times now, but like, you know, they tried to find her same lawyers tried to fight the same case pretty much with Drake and Kendrick, right? And the judge there was even like, you put out a diss track and then he put out a diss track and then you put out one, then he put out one, then he won, and now you're trying to sue him, but you both have unclean hands. And I feel like that's the exact same situation here. Like, you took over the movie. Wayfair was so kind. They were good. They didn't say nothing in August. Imagine if we got some of these text messages, Khaleesi text messages, bite no teeth text messages, like anything in August when she's saying the smear campaign happened. Imagine, like, that would have been crazy. Finding out about just Ryan Reynolds, all of the stuff that he did, Blake Lively, like all of the stuff that they did on set, they could have destroyed them in August and they didn't. And they were willing to walk away knowing that they turned everyone against them and took over not only this film, but potentially the franchise that they had just bought. I mean, it's disgusting. And Alex Sachs, now there's resurfacing Instagram post where even in late July 25th to July 30th, a week before the premiere, she was talking highly about Justin Baldoni on Instagram. No problems. Was like, love you, JB. Okay, so then what changed? You went to the premiere with, I mean, what changed? It's so kind of so crazy. Because then what? What? How did they get you, girl? How did they get you? Kind of nuts. Yeah, well, Jeanette, we're never going to see medical records from Blake because she pulled her two biggest claims of emotional distress. So that's not going to happen. Okay, the next thing we're going to go through, I was going to go through Stephanie motherfucking Jones's, her spoliation thing as well, but I'll leave it up to you guys. We can go over Jones's spoliation response, or we can go over Jones's effort to re-amend her lawsuit. I think the reamendment one might be a little bit more juicier, but either or are good. I'm going to cover one, whichever one we don't talk about tonight, I'm going to cover tomorrow morning on the show. So you tell me. I'm going to go to the washroom very quick. I'll be back in less than like 60 seconds. And then let me know like what you guys want. Spoliation or reamendment, or just write amendment or something. But I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, what are you guys thinking? Amendment? That's what I see. Okay. I think the amendment to, I'll go over the motion, the reply for spoliation tomorrow. It's only about 13 pages, but I feel like it'll be a little bit easier. The reamendment, I think, is going to be juicier because from what I heard, she wants to add more people to it, and now there's does 1 through 10, and kind of crazy. She attached a lot of attachments, but you can't really get to them. Like now she has, I guess, experts that say that the websites are all same people did it. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on in her head because I feel like what she wants to do is just sue Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace, but now she has Justin Baldoni tied into this one. And I know for dang sure Justin Baldoni did not create Stephanie Jones leaks. I mean, even if he did, that would be like the biggest surprise, I think, of the case. It's kind of crazy. I hope if they do settle that Blake and Ryan have to give a public apology as well. But I honestly don't see Wayfair at this point settling unless there is 100% full vindication, like 100%. So we're just gonna go. It's a little bit messy, but she actually did put a red line reamendment, which is kind of good because then you can see what's changed and what's the same. So I feel like that's what we'll work from. I just want to make sure it's not cut off here. But this is Stephanie motherfucking Jones. Here we go. That seems about right. I wonder if I can just do this. Okay. So anything in the blue is new, and then there's crossed out. So it looks a little bit messy. This is 80 pages, but her original, like just the amendment one, is 67. So we'll actually be able to see like what's new and what's not new, which is very interesting. I have not gone over this, so this is going to be all a surprise to me. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be tons of redactions. I don't know how the judge is going to take this. I don't know if this is even going to be allowed. Reamendments, the due date was a long time ago, so I'm not really sure. I know Wayfair had already said that it's untimely. If they do want to file one, it would be untimely. Stephanie motherfucking Jones already, kind of got a little slap on the wrist from the judge for doing a subpoena late in the game to a non-party. So I don't know what's going to happen, if he's going to like this or not like this, and what's going to happen with it. But definitely the Wayfair people are going to have some things to say, and Daddy Fritz is going to, probably come out hard. But this is it. So Everything in blue is new. In the red, that means it's being crossed out, not using it anymore. And anything in black is already there from the last time. So this is just a red line reamendment, which shows what's new and what's not, which is kind of cool to look at from this point of view. I've never seen one like this, like in the filings yet. So it's kind of helpful so that we don't have to read all of the stuff that we kind of already know in order to find like the juiciness of it. But I guess now she's also adding Jamie Heath because like, why not? Like, yes, Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni are responsible for the Stephanie Jones leaks and the defamation and the Amanda Ghost. And yeah, they've been working with Jed for so long. But I think she probably just added Jamie Heath because she's also suing them for breaching the contract too early. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I don't know what these ladies are thinking. Between Blake and Steph, I'm just like, do y'all share the same doctors? Are you on the same medication? Like, tell me, girl, like, what is going on? Okay, what's happening, you know? So this is public enemy number one. This is how it all started. She is the one that colluded with Blake Lively for over a month before filing the illegal, unethical, fake lawsuit, which had the sham subpoena in it called Van Zan. Here we go. So she's already added Jamie Heath. Very interesting. Stephanie Jones and JonesWorks, by and through their underside counsel, bring this amended complaint against defendants Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan, Justin Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, Jamie Heath, and John Doe's 1 through 10, and respectfully allege as follows. So this is all new. Discovery has revealed a growing list of attack websites from the same band of conspirators. Among other revelations, Discovery has uncovered that Melissa Nathan, her hired gun, Jed Wallace, and others engage in a regular practice of creating highly offensive and negative online content against individuals, often influential women, including Jones and JonesWorks, with the clear intent of destroying those individuals' reputations. This amended complaint conforms to the recently discovered evidence and identifies the Doe defendants responsible for the smear websites and social media accounts targeting Jones and JonesWorks and scores more. Okay, so I just feel like these are different actions. Like, I think again, I'll go back to the beginning. I think she really wants to sue Jed Wallace and Melissa Nathan, and now she has Jen Abel, of course, and now she has Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath tied into this. But I think they're different lawsuits to me, you know? Dang dog, in and out. Oh my gosh, I just closed my door and then the dog came and opened the door. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yes, so they did admit, well, everything's kind of redacted in the depositions when it comes to the websites, but in Jed Wallace's deposition, they do talk about him creating another website. So this is all old. This is just like the beginning where they talk about her response to the action. The Jones parties now know that before Nathan and Abel engaged Wallace to run a retaliatory media smear campaign against Blake Lively surrounding the release of the film It Ends With Us, they had employed the same underhanded tactics against Jones, causing an astronomical and wholly unfounded spike in negative rumors, online chatter, and media articles unlike anything Jones had experienced in her career, and resulting in severe reputational damage. So I guess they're not going to use the other beginning they had. Okay. This lawsuit seeks to finally put a stop to their continued misconduct and to compensate Jones and JonesWorks for the damage defendants' conduct and scheme has inflicted. Then they talk about how Jones is a highly respected public relations expert, which is crazy because she has a bad reputation and like everyone knows it. It's real bad. So for her right now to be playing like the innocence card is kind of crazy, because if they are allowed to bring up other witnesses or ex-clients, like if she opens the door for that and they bring out like The Rock or any of the other people that she had really serious problems with, it's just going to smash her to pieces. So you never always want to be like, oh, I'm so perfect, you know. Wayfair, his movie production company. Did we miss something? Baldoni. Justin Baldoni. Wayfair, his movie production company. Among Jones Works' former employees was Abel, who, unbeknownst to Jones, had been groomed by Nathan to turn against Jones. Had been groomed? Like how Blake Lively groomed Isabella Ferrer? Interesting sentence to use. But I also think that kind of happened. I think Abel trusted Melissa Nathan a little bit too much, and so did Jamie Heath. Honestly, in my opinion, just looking at some of Melissa Nathan's texts, the way she talks, to me, she doesn't really feel like morally aligned with Wayfair and or Jen Abel, and was kind of doing some shady stuff behind their back. But also, doesn't mean that she was doing for Wayfair what she does for all of her other clients, because you do have to still follow your clients, you know. Thank you so much, Nunu. So that's very interesting, but we continue. Okay, this is a long one, so I'll try to zip it, and we'll try to get through it, but it's a lot here, so let me know what you guys think. Shocked. Yeah, or shook. Yeah, I'm shook too. Well, either or works. Together, Nathan and Abel conspired with others, including Rosa Calatari and her company Skyline Agency, and Wallace and his company Street Relations, to unlawfully disparage Jones and harm Jones. The attacks against Jones and JonesWorks included the publication of multiple websites and social media accounts smearing Jones and placing traditional media articles amplifying these lies. Jones had consistently maintained that this smear campaign was a calculated and deliberate effort to severely damage her business and reputation. Suspicions have now been validated. Among other things, Discovery has revealed that Nathan directed a then employee, the former employee, to write copy and coordinated with frequent collaborator Wallace to create and publish numerous websites and social media accounts containing ugly, false statements about Jones and JonesWorks. Thanks, Jill. Well, you gotta first prove that they're false. Like, Jones, let's start there. Are you sure that everything in that article wasn't true? Because we've read the article, and there's some people in there that are really... There's more than one person, right? It's dozens of ex-employees, dozens of clients that are saying that you were awful. So, kind of strange, but... Defendants have denied their involvement in the Jones websites, but the pattern has repeated too many times to be coincidence. It is now apparent that Nathan and Wallace end on information and belief, often in connection with litigation and sometimes with the assistance of Calatari and her agency Skyline, run a clandestine cottage industry of creating false smear websites and social media accounts targeting their adversaries and those of their clients. The Jones websites is not an isolated incident. On information and belief, this pattern has repeated itself many times over, and their frequent collaborations to create and publish strikingly similar derogatory and offensive websites and social media handles about others only further corroborates their hand in the Jones website. For example, Nathan and Wallace directed that the copy for the website blank. They did the same for blank. The list goes on. But I don't think it matters what they did for other people. I think it just matters for your case. And I don't know. This is kind of weird because whenever I think of Stephanie motherfucking Jones, I think of Van Zandt. And honestly, I don't feel bad for you, Steph Jones. I don't. I hope you get all of the karma that is headed your way. I don't wish any bad ill on anyone. But when it comes to this case, and what you did to Wayfair, they were your client, and you handed over all of their private information stolen from Jen Abel's phone. how are we to trust that whatever was on that website is false when you're acting out like that? You know, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you look like a psycho. You look like a scorned, bitter woman. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't feel bad. I don't know. It's a shame those websites got shut down, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, just out here. You could, Carolina says, you couldn't pay me to ever watch a movie with any of these scumbags. Brandon, Jenny, Slate, Isabel, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds. All nasty, disgusting, bad actors that are canceled, in my opinion. Yeah, I've been seeing that sentiment everywhere. I mean, under every article, under every link, under every main, like, I've been seeing it everywhere. Okay. The list goes on, does it? Similarities in these and other websites corroborate that the creators of the Jones website and of the websites AmandaGhostSucks.com and AlexanderBrothersExtorted.com likely also created many more derogatory websites of a similar nature, including On Information and Belief. Wow, they created all of these ones for Alexa Nicholas, who had filed a sexual assault lawsuit against Michael Milosh. Joe Dunn of conspiring to make accusations against Michael Milosh. A social media account attacking Christian Lang, whom a Jane Doe had sued for allegedly forcing her into a slave contract. What the fuck is that? I'm so sorry. Sometimes there's F-bombs. A slave? I'm going to have to look at all this overnight and bring it to you on tomorrow's show because this is looking crazy. Min Hee-jin, the former CEO of South Korean recording label, and also attacking Paige Jimenez, an influencer and OnlyFans model. Tamara Rubin, the Lead Safe Mama, an activist, researcher, and filmmaker who was the executive director of Lead Safe America. At the same time, Nathan Calatari and others, including later Abel, also coordinated closely with reporters at Business Insider to facilitate and plant a highly negative media story about Jones and Jones Works, buoyed in part by the existence of the same false and defamatory websites that Nathan and Wallace had created. So strong was their desire to generate negative media coverage against Jones that they would. And actually, what's so interesting is there's text between Nathan and Abel where Jen Abel says, "Have you talked to Business Insider?" And Nathan says, "No, not yet, because if I did, that would be a kill story." So I don't know. That's kind of weird that they would text at the time that they hadn't talked to Business Insider, and then I don't know. It's just kind of strange to me. But I don't put it past Jed and Nathan. Like, they get clients. They get paid $30,000 a month. Who knows? She says that she has this, like, IT expert now and all of this stuff. But look, wow, redacted. Nathan and Calatari conspired too. Don't know. Nathan and others, don't know. They plainly intended to use the publications of this negative article to harm Jones. On the eve of the article's release, Nathan boasted about the destructive effect this story would have on Jones, mocking Jones in a text to Abel and jokingly suggesting that Abel should tell Jones. Melissa, Nathan, and Jen Abel. Stephanie, are you aware that there is a kill story dropping this week on you? And if you hadn't have blown us up, we would not be in such a bad place. Okay, show the whole text. That's just a little snippet. Oh, wow, she's really pulling from Blake Lively's. I know this text message. We've been over this text message dozens of times. Wow. Bye, roses. Okay. Jennifer Abel says to her first, "Have you talked to Business Insider? Have they reached out?" And Nathan replies back with "No, haven't talked to them. What should I say? This is what it would sound like." And then she writes this: "It would be a kill story." As in, if I talked, Nathan even says, I have so much dirt on her. if I were to talk to Business Insider, it would be a kill story, right? So it's kind of like, I feel like that's cherry picked, but we continue. Abel and Nathan's conspiracy to take down Jones was virulent and effective, which they themselves recognized in connection with Lively, was fueled by society's natural willingness to tear down successful women, and they capitalized on this for their own gain. This is so cherry picked. This, oh my God. It's actually sad because it shows how you have people really want to hate on women. I know it's sad. That has nothing to do. I mean, she says in connection, but this shouldn't even be in the Jones lawsuit because it has nothing to do with anything that happened with Jones. But then, like, don't be a cunt. I mean, don't be a see you next Tuesday. Exactly. Jones, don't be a see you next Tuesday, and you wouldn't have all these clients wanting to make websites about you. Indeed, Abel and Nathan's, but this whole like text exchange, even from the very first one in blue, is altered and cherry picked. This one's cherry picked. This one's cherry picked because it's a long text thread that she's taking those from. Indeed, Abel and Nathan's animosity against Jones was so great that they will never know it was redacted. Nor was this the only time Abel, Nathan, and Wallace had used these tactics to tear down female adversaries. In July 2024, behind Jones's back, Abel and Nathan also secretly coordinated with Baldoni and Wayfair to implement an equally aggressive media smear campaign on Baldoni and Wayfair's behalf. And now we all know that the blue is new, right? So she's adding on Baldoni and Wayfair's behalf. Thank you so much, Jill. Stephanie Jones is suing Jamie for recording a phone call. That's why I think she added him here as a defendant. This is crazy. I think this is going to get nutty. Okay, they go into the history of it, whatever. Baldoni, okay, over Jones's express objections, Abel brought on crisis fixer Melissa Nathan. Abel and Nathan sprang into action, scheming to bury and destroy co-star Blake Lively to protect Justin Baldoni. Their plan was covert, deliberately concealed from Jones, and went far beyond the legitimate scope of Abel's employment. Indeed, discovery has revealed that Nathan and Abel offered to Baldoni and Wayfair without Jones's knowledge a website and full social takedown of Lively, exactly what Nathan, Wallace, and others had done to attack and disparage Jones and others, including blank. Then we have these texts. I know, and once you are gone, we will be on accounts together and make them really good money and be happy. Okay. I mean, completely cherry-picked. So crazy. These text messages, let's just keep it steering that way, and you take this effing client and never talk to her again. I swear to God. This was when Stephanie Jones was trying to input herself where she didn't belong, and she was breaking the truce that they made. Of course, she denies it, but you know, whatever. We have these text message. Abel's candid communications revealed that she, in fact, held Baldoni personally in extremely low regard. It's not really important to write that. I think they're just doing that because they know Justin is sensitive and they're going to read it. Okay. Jennifer Abel writes, I can't stand him. He's so pompous. A men's retreat during release. Is he crazy and being off the grid for the summer because he's just so overworked? Like, calm down. You're not that important and nobody gives a shit how hard your life is. On another day, she wrote, he doesn't need a retreat. He needs to be humbled. When this movie flops, he's going to try to blame every person around him for it. Then she texts, he may fire us because even if we put together an amazing campaign, it's not going to change the fact that he's so unlikable and unrealistic as a leading man. There's no chemistry with him and Blake. You and I both know that she will be resistant to promote this movie and press will be reluctant to do anything with Justin without Blake being a part of it. So those are my thoughts. What's crazy is during Justin Baldoni's deposition, he had never read these texts before and they gave them to him and said, would it surprise you to know that these girls were talking about you behind your back, and like made Justin read these texts in his deposition. Like, disgusting. Anyway, she's taking out 6 months earlier for some reason. Don't know why yet. Abel had voiced the same opinion in connection with a filmed kissing scene between Baldoni and Lively, which is described to Abel as so gross, and revealed that Abel was well aware of Lively's on-set complaints about Baldoni's behavior. It's so cringy, his face. Blake was probably grossed out too. Yeah, and filed a cease and desist. Are these women's eyes okay? I don't know if anyone, I don't know many women, not that that's why I'm defending Wayfair and Dustin Baldoni. I'm doing it because I truly think that they're innocent and being falsely accused. I know how it works on set, and I think what Lively's doing is absolutely crazy. But Justin Baldoni being gross and cringy, I don't know about that one. They're taking out a whole bunch of stuff here. They're taking out working to protect Justin. That's all gone. Then we have these text messages. They're taking these out. Oh my gosh, this is all gone. Okay. Gone. Then we get down here. This is being added. Nathan and Abel then used the crisis as an opportunity to drive a wedge between Jones and Baldoni and to publicly pin blame for this smear campaign on Jones, when Jones had no knowledge or involvement in it, conspiring to ensure that Wayfair and Baldoni would leave Jones Works and come with Abel to her planned new firm. Then there's text between Jen Abel and Melissa Nathan. Just had a nice conversation with Justin, just him and me. I explained to him a few things and my conversation with Leslie. He's like, don't help her. I'm like, I'm not helping her. I'm telling her what we're doing and she needs to also not do anything. And my last conversation with her was last Wednesday or so. And then I couldn't help myself. What's very interesting about this is I know she's using this to say that they all work together, but these texts actually prove that they were in conversation with Leslie Sloan and that they were not doing anything in the media. Yet again, more evidence. In my opinion, I know that's why she's not using this text, but it's another text in real time saying like, hey, we're not doing anything. I told them not to do anything either, which means there was no smear campaign. But anyway, I ended it with blank. And I'm just going to step out of line before I go to bed and tell you Jen is amazing. She's so loyal. She loves you so much. And you have to go with her. And he was like, oh my God, of course I'm going with her. Don't kill me. Okay, bye. Ha ha ha. Oh my God, love you. Thanks for chatting with him. By the time Jones became aware of the plot in August 2024 and terminated Abel, it was too late. The damage was done. Abel had already stolen more than 70 proprietary and sensitive business documents and additional clients' leads from JonesWorks. Beyond those documents, Abel left JonesWorks with Baldoni and Wayfair in tow and immediately opened shop at her own competing firm, which she had set up while still working at JonesWorks. She further sought to poach employees in violation of her non-compete and non-solicitation provisions in her contract. And in their part encouraging Abel and leaving with her, Wayfair and Baldoni breached their own contract with JonesWorks and then poured salt in the wound by baselessly refusing to pay the remaining amount owed. Okay, and then they talk about Melissa Nathan, her phone, the termination, and how there was a forensic there that, was there to preserve and examine in detail the phone's contents. Jones discovered the breadth and intensity of Abel and Nathan's duplicity from these records, including that Abel was actively encouraging other JonesWorks clients and employees to leave JonesWorks while Abel was still employed there. Where are those text messages? Where are those emails? Where's that evidence? But you're okay to use cherry-picked evidence, right? Yeah, Christina, I agree. I think these girls were doing some shady stuff, against Stephanie Jones. But again, it's like, was it warranted because she was such a monster to work for? Yeah, I don't know. To this day, Abel and Nathan blame, attack, and just disparage Jones in an effort to detract from their own misconduct as it continues to come to light. So, too, do Baldoni and Wayfair, who have since parted ways with JonesWorks, have repudiated their contractual obligations with JonesWorks, and have enabled and encouraged Abel's and Nathan's rampant misconduct against Jones. Jones has tried in good faith to resolve this dispute out of court, but those efforts were met with a complete lack of accountability and stonewalling. And defendants' finger pointing and smear campaign against Jones still continues. Jones has been subject. Oh, anticipates. She took that out. She changed that real quick. Jones has been subject to even more retaliation and negative attacks from defendants for filing this lawsuit and revealing the truth. From defendants? That's a weird thing to say. I don't think they've been smearing anyone or attacking anyone since the litigation started. I'll say that, like, for sure, okay? Like, in my opinion. That's kind of a weird sentence. But she has been left with no choice but to seek to vindicate her rights through this litigation and put a stop to defendants' continued harassing and damaging behavior against her. Kind of sounds familiar. Kind of sounds like Blake Lively's own words, that she's still being continually harassed and damaged. Very interesting. Let's see. Plaintiff Jonesworks LLC is a Delaware limited liability company. All members of Jonesworks are citizens of the state of Connecticut. Okay, that's interesting to put in. What else is new? Defendant Jennifer Abel is an individual who resides in Beverly Hills. From approximately July 2020 to August 2024, Abel was employee of Jonesworks. Abel established RWA Communications, of which she is the founder and CEO, in July 2024 while still employed by Jonesworks. In August 2024, Abel was terminated for cause by Jonesworks. I mean, she actually quit, but, you know, the day before her last day, you walked her out. It goes into all of the other stuff that we already know about Justin Baldoni, who Wayfarer Studios is, and here we go. This is it. So they originally had the co-chairman, Justin Baldoni, but now they have the co-chairman and is led by defendant CEO Jamie Heath. Defendant Jamie Heath is an individual who resides in Los Angeles, California. Heath has been the chief executive officer of Wayfarer since March 2024 and the president of Wayfarer during production of the film. John Does 1 through 10 are unknown additional individuals who created and published the defamatory websites Stephanie Jones Leaks and StephanieJonesLies.com. This court has diversity jurisdiction over the claims for relief asserted in this complaint pursuant to 28 U.S.C. because the matter is controversy exceeds the sum or value of $75,000, exclusive in interest and cost, and no defendant is a citizen of the same state as plaintiffs. You need more mods for the trolls, but promoting. What is, oh, I don't have any mods. Is that something I'm supposed to do? Yeah, shoot me a message, Aunt Lala. I would love to hear more about that. Yeah, what about the California office? I don't know. That's so crazy. This court has personal jurisdiction over defendants pursuant to New York Civil Practice and Rules, Section 301. Each of the aforementioned systematically and continuously conduct and solicit business within New York and have availed themselves of the privilege of conducting business in the state of New York. Now she's putting in each defendant. That's fine. Abel and Nathan also targeted New York by communicating with journalists based in New York in their effort to damage the reputation of Jones and Jonesworks and conceal Baldoni's on-set behavior. What's crazy is Stephanie Jones was also, if she's saying that Abel concealed the behavior, so was Stephanie Jones. That was her client too, and she was doing the exact same thing. So she knew it was going on too. She got the protections of demand. She got, Justin Baldoni was talking to her. They knew exactly what was happening. So very interesting that she's going to play like, oh, I didn't know what was going on. You knew some of the stuff was going on, okay, BITCH, like, let's go. Like, come on. There, you can only cry wolf so many times. Like, okay, let's get into it. So she's changing a bunch of stuff about the district. She really wants this district. So she wants Judge Lyman, okay? She wants the Southern District of New York. Factual allegations, background on the parties and their contracts. Nothing really new here. We knew that they entered into a contract in 2020. Then in 2021, they re-entered into a new agreement of the employment agreement, and that was with Jennifer Abel and Jones Works. The employment agreement included a New York choice of law provision and a New York forum selection. Abel expressly agreed to submit to the jurisdiction of any state or federal court sitting in New York for any disputes under the employment agreement. Okay. Wayfair and Justin Baldoni, everything looks good there. They founded Wayfair in 2019. Jones Works began representing the company. In May 2020, Jones Works executed a contract. Yes, we all know that. That's fine. It was $20,000 a month. Let's never forget that amount, okay? Wayfair has already paid her over $1 million. And look how she did them, okay? That's all I'm going to say. And she said Wayfair was a smaller client. So the contract had a 1-year term that automatically renewed for additional 1-year periods unless either party gave notice 90 days before such a renewal. Neither Jonesworks nor Wayfair ever gave notice under this provision. The contract most recently renewed for a 1-year period on May 7th, 2024, and will expired on May 6th, 2025. Yeah, I like that, Dr. Deb. I say my Bubba, like my grandma used to say, see you next Tuesday. So to me, it just comes out so natural. And for a long time, I had no idea what she was saying until I figured it out, you know. In June 2020, a month after executing the Wayfair agreement and upon Wayfair and Baldoni's specific request, the parties thereto, including Baldoni, agreed to incorporate public relations services for Baldoni personally into that contract in exchange for an additional payment of $5,000 per month. Since that time and through the end of the agreement's term, at Wayfair and Baldoni's request, Jones Works issued a single invoice each month for $25,000 to both Wayfair and Baldoni until the dispute described in this complaint. Wayfair and Baldoni paid those invoices each month. That's good to know. Then they talk about Heath, Baldoni, all of them. They all worked together with like on the movie or whatever. And then we go here. Melissa Nathan is a longtime crisis manager who has previously worked at several public relations firms. Jones and Nathan have worked alongside each other in the publicity industry for many years. At times, they have shared mutual clients, and for many years, Jones would seek to work collaboratively with Nathan and refer her business. Jones's goodwill towards Nathan went so far that in 2022, Nathan and Jonesworks engaged in negotiations regarding Nathan potentially joining Jonesworks. What in the helly? What? Melissa Nathan don't like you, girl. I don't know. I don't think I've read one nice thing that Nathan had to ever say about Stephanie motherfucking Jones. Where is this coming from? This is crazy. Okay, Jones is saying she likes Nathan. So crazy. She likes Nathan so much that she told Wayfair not to hire her. Make it make sense. You can't say they went against your wishes because you knew how shady she was, and now you're saying, no, it was great. I even at one point tried to hire her. The negotiations progressed significantly, including Jonesworks agreeing to hire and actually hiring 2 of Nathan's colleagues upon Nathan's insistence. Ultimately, however, negotiations with Nathan failed and she was not retained by Jonesworks. In 2023, Jones witnessed Nathan's approach to handling clients' crises when they worked for a mutual client. Nathan's tactics went far over the line. Jones recommended that the client terminate its relationship with Nathan, which was separate and independent from Jones and Jonesworks. Well, there you go. You got her fired from clients. That's why she doesn't like you. Jones herself further resolved that she would not collaborate with Nathan for clients in the future. Nathan has seemed to harbor significant animus toward Jones and Jonesworks ever since. It seems like these 2 women just don't like each other. It goes both ways. It's not just Jones doing it. Jones doesn't like Nathan either. Nathan doesn't like Jones. I mean, it's pretty freaking obvious, you know? Yeah, I would love to hear more about mods. I like that you think that's a good idea too, Jill. As I get more into streaming, I'm in the new year, guys. It's like I'll have like a dedicated streaming time. I have a whole plan coming out. So, definitely if you could shoot me an email or a DM or something, Aunt Lala, I would love to hear more about that as I start, growing and expanding the channel. Kind of crazy. But yeah, this is so crazy. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy that she thinks Wayfair still owes her money. I know. After what she's done, Wayfair is only here right now because of Stephanie motherfucking Jones, and now she wants more money. What? Yeah, Copper, you're not the only one that has a hard time with Nathan. I think she's honestly like the blind spot for Wayfair's PR problems, if I'm being honest. I think that I consider her and Jones kind of like on par with their problem solving. So I don't think she has clean hands. Like, I really think that Melissa Nathan has done some people dirty. I think she's a crisis PR expert for a reason. You hire a crisis PR person because you did some crappy stuff that's coming to light, or not, but you have some things coming to light that you need fixed. They're fixers, right? Fixers aren't necessarily always on the right side of things. So I totally agree with that. Nathan conspires with others to disparage Jones and Jones' work. So this is all new because it's in blue. Talk to you later. Jones and Nathan's once collegial relationship sourced after the 2023 incident in which Jones experienced Nathan's unethical tactics. After that incident, Jones stopped referring clients to Nathan, and Nathan began expressing extreme animosity towards Jones, especially regarding clients the two shared. By late 2023, shortly before the formal launch of Nathan's new agency, Nathan and Jones were working for a mutual client. During the course of that business relationship, Nathan had become increasingly frustrated regarding what she perceived as that mutual client's deference to Jones and refusal to permit Nathan to unilaterally determine strategy for that client. I wonder if this is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I wonder if we'll ever find out, because that's what the streets are saying. Nathan regularly expressed her frustration regarding having to work with Jones for a mutual client and disparaged Jones and Jones' works to others. Redacted. Nathan and Abel conspire with others to place and facilitate Business Insider kill story against Jones and Jones' works. Nathan and Kalatari then conceived a plan to publicly attack Jones's and Jones' works' reputations for the purpose of... Why the frig would that be redacted? That's so crazy. And also causing other existing and potential clients to refuse to do business with Jones and Jones' works. And then it's a redact. Whoa. Hold the phone. What? Oh, come on, Blake Lively. Oh, but we got a little S. We got a little S. So that's good. Oh my God. Yeah, Jenna, I agree with you. Absolutely crazy bonkers. Okay. Later in or around July 2024, Abel, still employed at Jones Works, joined Nathan and her co-conspirators' support and facilitation of the Business Insider article to attack Jones. Indeed, as early as July 29th, 2024, redacted. In the subsequent 2 weeks, Abel and Nathan fed information to Warren. Warren who? Now there's a Warren? To Warren to ensure that she moved forward with the article and that it was sufficiently critical to Jones. The contact between Abel and Warren included, at a minimum, a 27... Oh, Warren was the one who did the Business Insider article. The contact between Abel and Warren included, at a minimum, a 27-minute phone call on July 30th and several phone calls on August 1st and August 12th. Abel also facilitated Warren's outreach to former clients of Jones to further disrupt Jones Works' business. I'm assuming this is from Jen Abel to someone. To the Warren person, or maybe not, but it says from Jen Abel. FYI, Katie is going to try you again by phone to confirm if blank is a client. Another text from Jennifer Abel. I would definitely call her ASAP and say off the record she's not, and to not have her included in the piece. This client, with whom Jones had worked closely for years, bringing her from obscurity to prominence, terminated that. Wow. Only, like, literally taking any talent away from the client or whatever the client has to offer. It was Jones who brought this client from obscurity to prominence. And I don't know who they're talking about, but that's a crazy thing to say about someone. Terminated her contract with Jones as the direct result of Abel's encouragement and deliberate interference. For her part, redacted. Yeah, well, he did say in the new motion that things, unless it's a PPI, nothing can be under seal. He said that like maybe 2 weeks ago, and they still file everything under seal. In addition, on August 9th, 2024, Abel suggested and asked for Heath's approval to try to get Business Insider to remove reference to a letter of support for Jones that Baldoni had previously written, and to falsely tell Warren that Baldoni and Wayfair had terminated their relationship with Jones. Whoa, let me read that again. In addition, on August 9th, Abel suggested and asked for Heath's approval to try to get Business Insider to remove reference to a letter of support for Jones that Baldoni had previously written, and to falsely tell Warren that Baldoni and Wayfair had terminated their relationship with Jones Works when they had not. I guess, and also, like I said, these are very cherry-picked text messages, because if not, you would just attach the entire text. I digress. Just thought about something. Should I try to get Justin's letter removed from Business Insider? I would need to tell her on background that both Justin and Wayfair have severed ties. So not sure if your lawyers would recommend that, as she would need to print that, and not sure if that would cause any issues. Oh boy. On August 12th, 2024, just 3 days before the article was published, Business Insider's Warren asked Abel to call her back. Hi, would you mind giving me a call back when you have a minute? Just a quick question. Abel called Warren 11 minutes later. The day before the article was published, Nathan texted Abel boasting about the destructive effect it would have on Jones and mockingly suggested that Abel should tell Jones. And then you have the same kill story text message, but it's not at all the way she's describing it. She's just saying, Jennifer Abel asked Melissa Nathan, have you talked to Business Insider? Melissa Nathan said, no, not yet, because if I do, this is what I would say. Stephanie, are you aware there is a kill story dropping this week on you, right? Immediately before the article was published, Nathan texted Abel that she just got a text from my source to say that article is going live imminently. When Abel asked which article Nathan was referencing, Nathan responded, I just shook my head at your response, the only article. Abel responded, oh shit, that article. Warren then texted Abel the minute the article was published to alert her that it had gone live. Story is up. Thanks for your help. And then you have the business article. Immediately after the article was published, Abel texted Nathan a link to it. Abel also sent the article directly to numerous industry contacts, including many of Jones's clients and employees and several of Abel's industry friends and other industry publicists. The article published Business Insider on August 15th was highly critical of Jones. Highly critical of Jones? I would say it was a little bit more than highly critical, including by referencing and amplifying the anonymous, disparaging website Stephanie Jones Leaks, which had been recently posted online by Nathan and Wallace, and accusing Jones of having a reputation for aggression and having recently been dropped by high-profile clients. Given that Wayfair and Baldoni were longtime clients of Jones Works, the clear and false implication of the article was that Jones was responsible for the aggressive media tactics that were being employed by Baldoni and Lively. That's interesting because I did not read anything about Baldoni and Lively in that Business Insider article, and I've done multiple stories on it, but I don't know. It could just be me. Unsurprisingly, the negative article about Jones shared a strikingly similar tone with the negative coverage against Lively, appearing in the press at the same time. In the same vein as the gendered mean girl coverage about Lively that followed the weaponizing feminism script sent out in the strategy memo, the Jones article was premised on the same principles, manifesting an equally sexist critique of Jones, who was cast as a tyrannical boss who could quickly turn combative rather than a successful executive in a high-profile, high-pressure role. OMG, guys. Yeah, Jeanette, very cherry-picked. Very, 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 very cherry-picked. I mean, this is kind of crazy. It seems like somebody must have wrote this. I mean, it doesn't even sound like her... Like, you know, her lawyer is super cutthroat and gets straight to the point and is really demeaning and insulting. I don't really get that here. I get this to be like point by point by point. So Jeanette, you might have a little bit of point on that. You might have a little point. But it's very interesting. I mean, I think this is just for PR because I don't even know if this is going to be admissible to re-amend after fact discovery. I think you would have to drop it and then refile, but I mean, see a lawyer for that one. But it's kind of, it's nuts. Yeah, Jungle, I'm with you on that one for sure. Why does she keep referring to Lively? I don't know, since Lively's not even in action in this case. It's literally Jones versus Justin Baldoni, now Jamie Heath, Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan, and John Doe's 1 through 10. But this is just nuts. This is crazy. This just feels like PR. But I don't know how the judge is even going to take a reamendment at this stage of the game. And I'm sure Wayfair within 3 business days is going to respond. Nathan, desperate for the article to have maximum negative impact, blank. See Katie Warren and Jack Newsham, Who's Afraid of Stephanie Jones? Oh, I have multiple times. It's a great article. This article had serious negative repercussions on Jones's business and negatively impacted Jones's standing and connection with JonesWorks clients, making them more vulnerable to poaching by competitors like Nathan and Abel. To this day, despite notice of falsities contained in the article and despite the growing proof that the article was planted and deliberately slanted to harm Jones, the Business Insider article remains publicly available and has not been retracted or corrected. It's publicly available, but you have to pay for Business Insider, and, you know, it's old news, Jones. Like, it's like, move on, you know? Nathan and her co-conspirators fabricate defamatory websites to attack Jones and JonesWorks. So all the blue is new stuff that she wants submitted into the court. Nathan's tactics for attacking Jones and JonesWorks ran deeper and were more insidious than just the Business Insider kill story. In or around early May of 2024, Nathan, acting in concert with Wallace and, upon information and belief, Kalatari and Skyline, published 2 false and defamatory websites about Jones and JonesWorks. In May of 2024, Nathan instructed the former employee, who was by then working for Nathan, to draft the copy of the contemplated website attacking Jones. Nathan directed the former employee specifically as to what the website was to say, blank. The former employee did as instructed and sent the requested draft content back to Nathan and Wallace. On May 6th, 2024, Wallace and Nathan published the false and defamatory website about Jones and JonesWorks at the jonesleaks.com. After Jones objected to the website domain hosting service about the defamatory and abusive nature of the website, the service took the website down. Then, I wish the website was kind of still up because I wasn't able to see it. But it did have, from what I can tell and what I could still find online, it wasn't just one person's account. They had dozens and dozens and dozens of people, ex-clients and ex-employees. So, you know, there's no halo over Stephanie motherfucking Jones's head here, you know? Then, just days later, Wallace and Nathan created a posted identical content at the webpage joneslies.com, which was hosted by a different company. This website remained online and accessible until the summer of 2025. These individuals published the website under the name of an innocent, uninvolved former JonesWorks employee in order to hide their tracks and to perpetuate a false narrative regarding the genesis of the websites. Yeah, I remember another girl was being blamed for that all the way up until just a couple of months ago. So, knowing that the websites needed more to generate the desired traffic, Nathan and Wallace also instructed the former employee to write, why doesn't she just say it's Katie Case, right? It's like one of those girls. It's Katie Case or Kozlo. So just, we already know. You already tried to subpoena them for the information. I don't know why you keep saying former employee. Instructed the former employee to write content for several disparaging social media posts about Jones and JonesWorks that would promote the website and further disparage and defame Jones. The former employee complied and provided draft language for those posts to Wallace via the disappearing messaging app Signal. This content was subsequently published on X, formerly known as Twitter, via the handle @LeakyStephJones. Additional derogatory X accounts were also created, as well as Pinterest, Reddit, Gab, AnyFlip, and Facebook accounts that all sought to boost traffic to the websites. What the heck is Gab and AnyFlip? I've never heard of that in my life. Right. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Even that, to say that she wrote the content and stuff, where is the proof? Because you tried to subpoena and the judge threw the subpoena out. There's no, where's the evidence? The evidence. Funny how she could put evidence when it comes to cherry picking text messages, still misquoting the text. But where's this proof, right? The evidence contained substantially identical false, harassing, and defamatory statements about Jones and JonesWorks, including but not limited to statements that Jones bullied JonesWorks employees, Jones and JonesWorks interfered with the employment prospects of former JonesWorks employees, Jones and JonesWorks leaked confidential client information, Jones and JonesWorks coerced clients into taking action that are not in their clients' best interest. Jones and JonesWorks interfere with their clients' ability to do business. Each of these statements is false. Oh, dang, she just opened the door. Now, because she opened that door saying that all of those statements are false, Wayfair now, or the defendants now, can actually bring in evidence to counter her saying all of these things are false. So if there is employees, if there are old clients, oh boy. Okay, this is what I'm saying. If you got some, skeletons in the closet, you shouldn't try to play perfect, On information and belief, Nathan, Wallace, Calatari, Skyline, and the Doe defendants published the defamatory statements on the website with knowledge of their falsity, or at a minimum, with reckless disregard for the truth, with the specific intent to harm Jones and JonesWorks in their business by causing them to incur reputational harm, and lose clients. On information and belief, Nathan, Wallace, Calatari, Skyline, and the Doe defendants then engaged in search engine optimization efforts to promote the websites and drive web traffic to them, including through the use of backlinks. That is, links to the Jones defamatory websites were planted throughout the internet on seemingly unrelated websites such as colibriwiki.org and floorslocals.eu to influence search engine rankings and elevate the Jones defamatory websites in online search results for Stephanie Jones or JonesWorks. Nathan specifically intended the website to be severely damaging to Jones and JonesWorks' reputation. She succeeded. Indeed, Nathan boasted in her filings before this court that the website severely damaged Jones's reputation following a surge of negative publicity and left JonesWorks in utter turmoil that caused it to bleed clients and personnel. In fact, Nathan used the website to drum up interest among reporters in the blank. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, there was a court order that came out tonight by the judge. Nathan and Wallace have denied involvement in the websites. However, the pattern has repeated too many times to be a coincidence. Indeed, Nathan and Wallace, working at times with others, appear to have developed a cottage industry of creating and publishing smear websites against adversaries or adversaries of their clients, often attendant to actual or prospective litigation. For example, Nathan and Wallace also directed copy to be drafted, created, and caused to be published on a website on behalf of blank. Following their Jones playbook, Nathan instructed the former employee to draft content for a website requested blank. Nathan also blank. AmandaGhostSucks.com launched. So why is she okay to have Amanda Ghost in here, not redacted, but everything else redacted? Like, okay, you're okay to talk about Amanda Ghost, but you're not okay to talk about everyone else? Why? That's kind of strange to me. Okay. Like with Jones, multiple parallel social media profiles appeared online at the same time to promote web traffic to the website, and multiple backlinks also appeared, including from the very same accounts responsible for the Jones backlinks. Ghost has since sued Nathan for her role in creating and publishing this derogatory and defamatory site. That's why there's a pending lawsuit. Okay. Then it's redacted again. And once again, backlinks appeared in online content, including ones authored by the same accounts that authored content highlighting the Jones and Amanda Ghost websites. The connection between these websites is not speculative. To the contrary, recent forensic analysis of the Jones, Amanda Ghost, and Alexander Brothers websites has determined that those websites and the promotion of them share certain digital fingerprints, including boosting their placement in search engine results by using backlinks created by similar authors. This forensic evidence supports only one conclusion. These websites were created by the same individual or coordinated set of individuals. Example, Nathan and Wallace. It doesn't end there. Oh, we wish it did, but it doesn't. Further investigation reveals that a lengthy trail of other similar attack websites and social media pages, including on Information and Belief, at least the following. Alexa Nicholas. This is the same. John Doe, Christiana Mi Jing. Look at all the websites that she's saying that they did. Upon Information and Belief, Nathan and Wallace and others acted in concert to create and publish numerous derogatory attack websites and social media sites and accounts that share identical features, playbook, and digital fingerprints with the derogatory websites and social media accounts they created and published to attack Jones. Abel and Nathan's scheme to use Baldoni's crisis to attack Jones's reputation and steal Jonesworks' business. Yeah, so I guess they're saying that Nathan and Wallace created a website to disparage the woman coming forward against the Alexander brothers, which is like wild. The Amanda Ghost and Rebel thing, that whole story is so crazy. Like, I don't know what happened on that set, but that's crazy. Nuts. So Dr. Deb, to help you out, Melissa Nathan is the crisis PR. Jennifer Abel worked for Jonesworks and was Wayfair's PR person for years and years and years. And Jeanette, I agree with you. Then sue Wallace and Nathan. Personally, what does this have to do with the lawsuit? What does this have to do with Wayfair? But I guess maybe we'll get there at some point. But it just kind of seems like, okay, then sue Abel, Nathan, and Wallace. What does this have to do with freaking Justin Baldoni? It really seems like she's just lumping them all together. Sue Wayfair for breaking the contract. That's what you should be suing them for. And then sue Abel, Nathan, and Wallace for defamation or whatever her causes are. I mean, it's kind of crazy because I don't understand what this has to do with anything with It Ends With Us. It seems like we've kind of lost the plot here a little bit. Nathan's attacks against Jones, often in coordination with Abel, did not stop there. Oh, it never stops, does it? Instead, around the same time as Nathan was conspiring with Wallace as others to create defamatory websites and social media accounts against Jones, and was conspiring with Abel and others to ensure publications of the negative Business Insider article against Jones, Nathan and Abel began conspiring to undermine Jonesworks from within and to steal Jonesworks clients and confidential information upon Abel's planned departure from Jonesworks. Among the clients that Abel and Nathan conspired to steal from Jonesworks were Baldoni and Wayfair. Who else? Where is the evidence? Who else? Then they go into, finally, we're getting to it ends with us, but everything in black is already from her original complaint. When Wayfair got the movie, the film adaptation, the tensions on set. So she even says here, Jones later learned that the tensions on set had reached such a point, So they're just talking about all the stuff from the set and with Baldoni. Then we have something new here. So look how much stuff she added. This point used to be point 51 and now it's point 112. That's crazy. Okay. Jones, having entrusted the management of the Baldoni and Wayfair relationship to Abel, trusted that any plan Abel formulated on behalf of Jones Works would appropriately reflect the company's integrity and ethos. Unfortunately, the opposite turned out to be true. Behind Jones's back, Abel went around Jones to arrange for Baldoni and Wayfair to retain Nathan and launch a smear campaign against Lively. Baldoni and Wayfair admittedly hired Nathan at Abel's recommendation and over Jones's objection, and despite her warnings about Nathan. Then we go here. I'm sure it's just her talking about how she really didn't want them to hire Nathan, really didn't want them to. Abel and Nathan devised a smear campaign against Lively to benefit Baldoni and Wayfair. The scenario planning document. Okay, fine. That's fine. Then this is all the same. I want to get to some of the new stuff. Like, why the frig is Jamie Heath in here? You know what I mean? Okay, this is about the same thing. About to perpetuate negative content. So how they're going to do it. They hired Jed Wallace. So it's all the kind of same thing. All parties involved in this nefarious strategy. All parties involved in this nefarious strategy have subsequently confirmed that Jones was intentionally excluded from the plan and was not privy to email, signal, or other communications about it, okay? She's out. That's it. She wants to make sure it's very clear. Okay, then we go here. Yes, this is from Tara Hanks to Jennifer Abel. This was on August 14th. So I guess almost a week after the smear campaign started. Text from Stephanie about the HR article and us hiring Melissa for Crisis. This wasn't planted by Leslie. This is playbook by Melissa. There are no New York Post stories she kept at bay. Melissa's sister works at Page 6. We need to flood zones with positive press and push back on claims. There's no counter to claims in story. His complimentary sound bites of Blake need to be covered on high SEO sites. That sounds pretty normal. It also doesn't sound like a smear campaign. It sounds up until this point that they haven't done nothing. So that's interesting. Excluding Jones from the conversation, Heath flatly rejected any pivot to a positive strategy in a text to Abel, suggesting that Jones should be shut out for undermining their strategy. He called Jones' influence on the situation poison. I don't like the idea that there is continued cannibalization from within the same side, meaning Jones Works, i.e. Stephanie, and the crisis team. I only want us to be communicating with people who are working together and not the ones who are undermining others within our team. Stephanie is casting doubt, and that can have an effect like poison. I'm going to bed. First for me forever. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, do you know how many people were undermining them in the movie and everything that happened? They want a team that's all together on the same page. Stephanie going to all of these backdoor channels to insult Melissa Nathan, who they just hired, probably didn't sit right with them after what they just went through. Then they go into how Nathan drove a wedge between Jones and Baldoni and attacked Jones's reputation in the press. At the same time as pandering to Baldoni and Heath's desire to discredit Lively, Abel and Nathan were also furthering their own profit-driven agenda to attack and disparage Jones, using many of the same tactics that they used against Lively in order to eliminate Jones as a competitor and siphon away her clients for themselves. Ironically, Abel and Nathan recognized that their success on both fronts reflected a societal desire to tear down successful women like Lively and Jones. But they remained untethered in their agenda. Oh gosh. Okay. And then this is where we have the text messages where, wow, people must really hate on women, trashing women, whatever. Melissa Nathan kind of talks out of both sides of her mouth. You think, I don't know. These are all complete, like, where are the text chains? Why are you just literally taking one text at a time? Show me the text change, unredacted, not altered. I don't want this cherry picked kind of crap. This is like to just see one text like that without any conversation. We already know what happened from the New York Times. We already know Blake Lively's original complaint where there were pages of redactions and she just took one text at a time. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, I just read your message. Men are canceled. Hilarious. Yeah, don't blame me. I'm just bringing you the information, you know, but it makes you feel crazy for sure, you know. Liar, liar for sure. I hope the judge throws it out. Me too. I mean, we'll see what happens. I am kind of funny. Thanks. A little bit, you know. So funny. Okay, so then they go into their goal. Melissa and Nathan, Abel and Nathan's goal is to take over all of the clients, leave her behind, whatever. This was already in her first complaint, so it's kind of like, you know, it's fine. It's just, okay, it's so cringy. His face, again, she's talking about Justin Baldoni kissing Blake Lively and calling him cringy. Instead of having then months later, took that out right away. Abel did it. Abel was even more explicit in her disdain for Baldoni. I'm not reading those texts again. They're kind of mean, super disgusting. To further their plan, Abel and Nathan contrived to plant stories in the media outlets, including the Daily Mail and Business Insider, to trash Jones and Jonesworks' reputation publicly and to their clients. It's all about the one Business Insider article, so it's kind of, I mean, interesting. The article relied exclusively on social media posts that had been identified for Abel earlier that same day, either a shocking coincidence or confirmation that Abel had planted the story. I thought you just said that she did. Like, you have proof that she did. So, okay. On information and belief, Abel and Nathan conspired to plant this story in the Daily Mail in pursuit of dual objectives. First, the negative story cemented Baldoni's need for Nathan's crisis management service, ensuring herself on an ongoing paycheck. Second, they arranged for Baldoni and Wayfair to believe that Jones was the cited insider and also created a false story that Jones had publicly blamed Lively for the article, thus sowing discord between Baldoni and Wayfair on one hand and Jones on the other. Yeah, okay. Total lack of context. I mean, when you just take one text at a time, we already know what they do like this, right? So it's kind of strange. The scheme worked. When the article was published, at first, key players in the film's release, including Josh Greenston, the president of Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group, believed, it said correctly, she took correctly out, that Abel was the person responsible for the story. Josh Greenston to Jennifer Abel. Hi, Jen. Been informed you have been speaking to sites about bad blood between Blake and Justin. He was good on today's show. If a negative story breaks, it would hurt the movie. Josh Greenston. But Abel denied being the source and instead falsely insinuated to Sony's communications team that Jones was the leak. The false allegation stuck. Rumors that Jones was behind the article began to make their way back to Wayfair, causing Heath to respond with hostility. I'm hearing from Sony, this is from Jamie Heath, I'm hearing from Sony that, quote, someone named Stephanie Jones has responded out to Daily Mail saying that Blake is to blame and now this has escalated it all. We were purposely not responding to anything as to not fuel. This has fueled it. Everyone stand down unless I am aware of any moves. I don't care who is supposed to do what. I'm most interested in that. I'm interested only in any strategy being run by me. I need all to understand that. So once again, this text message alone proves that they were not smearing Blake Lively. So why would Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni be, like, why are they involved in this lawsuit? It seems like it should just be Melissa Nathan versus Jones. But another text from Jamie Heath saying to stand down, don't do anything, you know. So again, I mean, I know this is not for that context, but this also works to prove that they weren't smearing at the time. When Jones stated her intent to contact Sony to correct this misimpression, Heath instructed her to stand down. To clarify again, I have not spoken to Daily Mail. The above isn't true. I also don't believe Danny or Kim at Sony are saying that above. Quote, also has spaces as if it was just being drafted. I am not I am not contacting press, but is concerning if Danny or Kim are saying I have escalated this in. I haven't even touched this. I am going to contact them. Jamie responds, Stephanie, as your client and the one who pays for the services, I am stating to not contact anyone regarding Wayfair or Sony at this time. If you do after this text, it will be a major problem. This needs to be respected now. And you know what she did? She did go and contact them. And they're also missing the text message from Stephanie motherfucking Jones and the email where she says, I can say whatever I want. You can't tell me what to do. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but funny how that's omitted from this like little text change. Then he went a step further and threatened Jones directly that he would issue a public press release stating that Baldoni and Wayfair had terminated Jones' works. Where's that text? I mean, you showed us all the other text. Where's the text with him threatening you? Because haven't seen that yet. Abel facilitated and encouraged Heath's attacks and threats against Jones Works, her then current employer. On or about August 8th, 2024, Abel surreptitiously participated in a phone call between Heath and Jones. Hiding her presence, Abel fed statements to Heath that he then repeated to Jones. Heath, who was in Illinois at the time of this phone call, secretly recorded the call, simultaneously violating Illinois criminal law and memorializing his abuse threats and Abel's treachery. Oh my God. I need a second. What? Excuse me. Can we talk about all the secret recordings so far? Clara Ayub. I mean, now this phone call. So I guess she didn't show the text up here because now it's a phone call. How? In Jamie Heath's deposition, when he talks about the amount of times he's he's recorded phone calls, he said about 3 to 4. And he talks about this very phone call. And he said that he was in California. He said he was in California at home. That's real interesting. I'm actually going to pull up real quick his deposition, not to do this, like to cut y'all off or anything, but I'm very interested in this before we go any further. Wow. I don't even know what to say about this. That's kind of crazy, but I'm going to find Heath Depot. Here it is. Let's see if you guys can see it too. OMG. I can't believe they're talking about secret phone calls and stuff when, oh my gosh, they recorded Steve Saritz. I mean, this just been everywhere, like kind of crazy here, but I just want to see. I'm going to pull up, what can I search? Record maybe? Recording? Oh, this isn't the right one. Fuck. I'll pull it up. I'll bring it to you guys tomorrow, but it's definitely the deposition that I read. I literally just read this thing like 2 days ago. That's how I know it's there. Here we go. It's the big one. I just want to find here because that's crazy. I'm pretty sure under oath. Let's go phone call maybe. What? Give me a break. Sorry. Okay. I don't want to waste anyone's time, but that's crazy because I'm almost more than positive he said that he was in California, and now Stephanie Jones is coming out saying that he's in Illinois. This just took a turn that I was not expecting. Okay, let's bring that back up here. Wow. I'm going to find it, and I'm definitely going to put it tomorrow in tomorrow's episode, but I don't want to waste any further time on this because that's crazy. Okay, and we're back. OMG. I'm going to find it because I just remember just reading this, and it literally said that he said I was in LA at the time, and I recorded it. There was nothing about Jen Abel, nothing about that being there, but that's crazy. that Abel facilitated and encouraged Heath's attack. Under oath, Heath said, I've recorded 3 or 4 phone calls. One was with Stephanie Jones. And Ezra was hard on Jamie Heath. I mean, she's a ball buster. She's way harder than Gottlieb. And she said, where were you? He said, California. She said, how'd you record it? He said, I was on my phone and I recorded it from my laptop. So how do they know that he was in Illinois? And on August 8th, 2024 is the night before the premiere. So wouldn't he have been in New York? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know what to say about this, but that's kind of nuts. I guess that's why she's now bringing in Jamie Heath. Let's continue. On August 9th, 2024, the Daily Mail published another article, this time reporting on Baldoni's abusive on-set behavior, citing insiders as the source for the article. On information and belief, Abel and Nathan conspired to plant this story, or at minimum knew it was forthcoming and allowed it to be published in further pursuit of their goal to cement Baldoni and Wayfair's need for Nathan's services and turn them against Jones. So Illinois is a 2-party state. Oh gosh, so is California, so it wouldn't matter if he was in California or Illinois. Wow. Oh God. Yeah, child, please. One client. Oh my gosh. Heath and Abel bragged about the success of this strategy, jokingly referring to Abel, who was sitting 20 rows away from Heath on the airplane on a press junket trip that they and Nathan attended without Jones, as the leak that was the best decision of this whole trip. Okay, that's so weird. Best decision of this whole trip, 20 rows separated from the leak. In parallel with their efforts in the Daily Mail, Abel joined in Nathan's long-standing effort to plant negative stories about Jones, including the freaking Business Insider. Yeah, we get it. We're 53 pages in, and all you've talked about is the Business Insider. Detailed above on paragraph 59 to 78. Did you by chance chat with Katie, the journo? No, she's calling me soon. Actually, should be very soon, probably in the next 10 minutes. FYI, Katie is going to try you again by confirmation. These are the same text. Okay, this is all excluded. Okay, she's taking all of this out. Just days later, after the kill story against Jones and Nathan and Abel had facilitated, on August 25th, 2024, the Business Insider turned the media storm surrounding Baldoni and Jones more pointedly to Nathan's advantage, publishing a second article that favorably touted Baldoni's hiring of Nathan to shepherd him through the crisis. The article, which on information and belief was again orchestrated by Nathan, noted that the negative attention on Lively was a gift to Baldoni. What? Anyway, how do you know that they did all of these articles? Oh, I just want evidence. This is all redacted, so none of this is going to be in there. She's taking all that out. Now she's talking about how they were leaving. She started her own, like Jen Abel was leaving. She filed paperwork to create RWA Communications, LLC, the competing public relations agency she intended to start upon her departure from Jonesworks. Abel had also created a website and social media accounts for her new competing firm, all while still employed under contract by Jonesworks. Okay, then we say, yeah, she had her email, whatever. She tells them, oh, no, email me at my own one. Okay, this is just old info. Look at, this is the same text that she already put at the beginning. Why is she re-putting the same stuff? It's kind of crazy. On or about August 21st, anyway, Jones learned about Abel's ongoing efforts to steal dozens and dozens of Jonesworks proprietary documents, including sensitive client and business information that Abel had no legitimate reason to access, including for major brand end clients that Abel had never worked on. Abel went so far as to download and copy the JonesWorks client contract form, except that she replaced the JonesWorks logo with the logo for her own newly formed business. JonesWorks immediately terminated Abel. Again, evidence, because Abel is claiming that they didn't find anything when they went through her laptop and her phone. So how do we know? I mean, I'm not saying that she didn't do it. I'm just saying you got to be able to prove it. As part of her termination paperwork, Abel falsely signed a statement purporting to confirm that she had not removed any electronic confidential information from JonesWorks. But of course she had. And this signed statement was untrue. Well, anything she signed at that time was under duress. Everyone knows that. So anything that happened in that little meeting where you stole her phone was under duress, okay? Stephanie. We have a Stephanie here, so I'm so sorry. At least it's not Jones, you know what I mean? Anyway, the damage was done with the encouragement and assistance of Nathan, Baldoni, and Heath. Abel stole Wayfair and Baldoni as clients, targeted other JonesWorks clients to leave. So now she's saying because of Heath and everyone that she was able to steal the clients. Okay. Wayfair and Baldoni ceased working with JonesWorks, and despite being under contract with JonesWorks, refused to pay JonesWorks what they contractually owed for its services. Even on the day she departed JonesWorks, Abel proudly admitted to Nathan that she was shaking Jones down to extract as much as she could from the company before her departure. A text from Jennifer Abel says, "By the way, I'm having my offboarding this morning with our chief of staff, a joke because Steph won't face me. And you should see the list I made of things to bring up. I need the list. Holding them hostage. It's wild. Exactly how business should be done." This is not what the text says. Yet again, we have another liar, liar, pants on fire. She quotes, "Even on the day she departed JonesWorks, Abel proudly admitted to Nathan that she was shaking Jones down to extract as much as she could from the company before her departure." The text message from Abel is literally like, "You should see the list of stuff I made to bring up." This is an exit interview. When you do an exit interview or an offboarding interview, you usually have a list of shit you want to talk about before you go. That's just the way it goes. She wasn't shaking her down. It's a fucking offboarding meeting. I'm sorry for my language. That is crazy. That's crazy that you can take this text message and say that it was a shakedown. It's literally an offboarding meeting, and that's what you do. You go to the HR person or the chief of staff and you have a list of stuff, and they're like, "How did you like working here? Would you recommend working here again? What would you say to anyone if they asked you what it was like working here?" And you usually read from your list and say what it is that you need to get off your chest before you get out of there, you know? Yeah, Shorty, exactly. Wayfair could go after Claire IU for a recording. So crazy. Anyway, we continue here. Nor was Abel content only to steal documents, clients, and confidential information from JonesWorks. On August 14th, Abel also attempted to encourage Nathan to poach a valuable JonesWorks employee. Da-da-da wants $200,000. He will come work for you. Told you he's pricey. This is who I think is Matthew Mitchell, because before she said Matthew Mitchell, turned his back on her for $30,000 or whatever. Do you think he's serious and he would do it? Abel also encouraged at least 6 other JonesWorks employees working for her in the LA office, almost half of JonesWorks employees at the office, to leave the company, including by bad-mouthing Jones to those employees and sending the employees' resumes to competing public relation firms. As a direct result of these actions, 2 of these employees ended their contracts with JonesWorks and left to work for competitors. Since being terminated from JonesWorks, Abel has continued attacking Jones within the industry, using her tried and true playbook to preemptively discredit any sources that might shed light on her own misdeeds. Abel has falsely stated to other participants in the public relations industry that Jones was attempting to distribute doctored text messages purporting to be from Abel as retaliation from Abel's departure. Well, we have distorted text messages in the court document. So, yeah, I kind of believe Abel here. She also tried again to point the finger at Jones as cover for her own role in the campaign against Lively becoming public. But Jones has never doctored any text messages and has no reason to do so. Abel's text messages were forensically extracted directly from her company phone that Abel used during her employment at JonesWorks and voluntarily returned to Jones. Now you're just being crazy. She didn't voluntarily return the phone to you. This is crazy. Okay. Apparently, Jennifer Abel voluntarily returned the phone to Jones in the presence of an employment lawyer and have preserved in their original state. So I guess the doctor text messages that went into the New York Times or from Blake Lively, I guess those were doctored from Blake Lively or the New York Times themselves. I think that's what JonesWorks is trying to do here, is try to remove blame from the doctored, from any of those text messages being doctored, and has become glaringly apparent that the text messages are themselves enough to condemn Abel and Nathan without any need for doctoring. So desperate were Nathan, Abel, and the Wayfair parties to discredit the text messages that they cannot deny they wrote. Oh gosh. Sorry guys, I just moved my camera a little bit here. I can't. This is crazy. I mean, it's already been proven that the text messages were completely cherry-picked, not doctored. There was a couple emojis missing, but they were cherry-picked. They missed huge pages, huge chunks from the text messages and took what they want. But anyway, so desperate were Nathan, Abel, and the Wayfair parties to discredit the messages that they cannot deny they wrote. They immediately, after the filing of a legal complaint against them by Lively, they reactivated their publicity smear campaign. I'm sorry. They reactivated their publicity smear campaign to discredit Jones and turn focus away from the damning content of the text messages by fabricating a wholly concocted story that they were obtained illicitly. On information and belief, they sent these false statements to reporters, some of whom published them in substance or idea, furthering their long-standing defamation against Jones. I cannot believe that she is going to say that Van Zandt, the way that Blake Lively got the text messages, okay, was completely legal. This is crazy. They were obtained illicitly. They reactivated a smear campaign. Oh my God. This is like Blake 2.0. This sounds exactly like Blake Lively, her lawyers. That's crazy. As intended, the misconduct by the defendants has had a significant negative impact on Jones and JonesWorks' business and reputation, and the campaign of misinformation against her has not stopped. As a result, Jones and JonesWorks has been left with no choice but to bring this lawsuit to seek redress for this misconduct and to remedy the damage done. I cannot believe that last freaking paragraph. They reactivated their publicity smear machine to discredit Jones and turn focus away from their damning content of the text messages by fabricating a wholly concocted story that they were obtained illicitly. With no explanation of Van Zandt, with no explanation of being in cahoots with Blake Lively for over a month before that fake lawsuit was filed, with nothing like that, right? That's all omitted because you're an angel, right, Stephanie? Right. Okay. Anyway, first cause of action pretty much remains the same. It's a breach of contract for Abel's employment agreement. Okay, that's fine. We'll see if there's any more causes, like new causes of action, because I'm pretty sure, like, why is Jamie Heath now in here? Second cause of action is tortious interference with contract. That's for Abel's employment agreement against defendants Melissa Nathan, Wayfair, and Justin Baldoni. Jones and Jones Works incorporate each and every allegation set forth above as if they were true. Under the Abel employment agreement, Abel agreed, among other things, that she would hold in strict confidence and trust for the sole benefit of Jones Works. Right, but you know who else was holding you, Stephanie motherfucking Jones, with strict confidence and trust? Wayfair, okay? It goes both ways. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly, Sleuth. They were smearing everyone, apparently. Jones definitely was smearing Jones. Definitely Blake Lively. Definitely Ryan Reynolds. And now, apparently, they were also smearing all of the women cast on It Ends With Us, if you were here for the first half, which was what Blake Lively. Blake Lively is now claiming that the smear wasn't only against her, but now it was against all females on the cast of It Ends With Us. Delulu, crazy, nutty. Okay, her other cause of action here, third cause of action, is breach of contract. I love how the lawyer had to go back and change every Jones Works because she wrote it wrong the first time. I don't know. I just think that's kind of funny. Like, every Jones Works is crossed out to, like, have it written right. Like, it was wrong the first time, but I'm a little petty like that. Okay. The third cause of action is breach of contract. Again, this is for the Wayfair agreement. So she's saying that Wayfair didn't give her the 90 days. They terminated. So therefore they owe her $25,000 a month since August of 2024 until May of 2025. Kind of crazy. So she wants that money, the $25,000 a month for the year. The fourth cause of action is tortious interference with contract. That's the Wayfair agreement. That's against defendants Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan. She thinks they conspired against her in order to steal Wayfair. This is a new one. Here we go. Fifth cause of action, tortious interference with prospective business relations. And this is strictly against defendant Melissa Nathan. This is for Jones and Jones Works Incorporate, each and every allegation set forth above as if they were fully set forth herein, beginning in at least December of 2023. We won't know. Tell me this isn't Blake's lawyers. Like, or at least they worked together or drafted it, because, you know, it just seems a little Blakey. Okay, it seems a little Blakey. Nathan and her co-conspirators are acting in concert with Wallace, further created and I always have a hard time with that word. Further created and disseminated derogatory attack websites and social media pages about Jones and Jones Works, and then engaged in search engine optimization efforts to drive maximum traffic to the websites. Redacted. Nathan and her co-conspirators engaged in the aforementioned conduct with the sole purpose to harm Jones and Jones Works. Redacted. Jones and Jones Works were severely damaged as a result of Nathan's and her co-conspirators' conduct. Among other harm, the Business Insider article and derogatory attack websites negatively impacted Jones's standing and connection with Jones Works' clients, making them more vulnerable by poaching by competitors like Nathan and Abel. So they didn't steal your clients. They just made you more vulnerable so other people can steal the clients. Like, that's what I'm getting from that, but okay. As a result, Jones Works has lost client relationships blank that would have been renewed or entered into agreement. Jones Works is not for defendants wrongful conduct. And I'm pretty sure this is Wayfair and Justin Baldoni. So I'm not sure, again, why that's blanked out, but okay. The sixth cause of action is faithless servant. Okay, Abel was in employment, so she was unfaithful to Stephanie motherfucking Jones. The seventh cause of action is breach of fiduciary duty against Jennifer Abel alone. The eighth cause of action is defamation, and that's against only Jennifer Abel. Why would that only be against Jennifer Abel and not then Melissa Nathan, Jed Wallace, and the John Does? Don't ask me. I'm not a lawyer, but it seems like defamation should be against all parties. Nah, I mean, that's kind of crazy. That's just me. Ninth cause of action is now we have defamation. Okay, so she has defamation as her eighth cause of action, and then defamation again as her ninth cause of action. Okay, and then this is against Melissa Nathan and John Doe's. John Doe's 1 through 10 and Nathan published or caused to be published the websites. Okay, whatever. We'll see if that goes through. And then we have a whole new cause of action again. And this is against Jamie Heath. 10th cause of action. Violation of Illinois Consolidated Statute Chapter 720 against defendant Heath. Jones and Jones Works incorporates each and every allegation sent forth above as if they were fully set forth herein. On or about August 8th, 2024, Heath was a party to a telephone conversation with Stephanie Jones. During the phone call, Heath was located in Chicago, Illinois. The phone call was a private conversation between Heath and Jones. Wow. That's crazy. Are you speaking for Lively or yourself? I don't know if you're talking to me or not. This is nuts. Prayer for relief. Whoa, I'm shocked. Wherefore plaintiff, prayer for relief as follows. Entry of judgment in favor of plaintiffs against all defendants. In respect of each defendant. Yeah. So she just wants money, Let's go. Punitive damages, including but not limited to pursuant to Illinois Consolidated Statutes 14.6. Demand for a trial jury. It was first dated December 24th, 2024. And now a year later, they want to amend. Wow. Wowzers. That's it. That is the new reamendment from Stephanie motherfucking Jones. OMG. That is crazy. That is nutty. What do you guys think about that? This is crazy. I don't even know what to say. I'm like shocked that she's even going to try to do this. Like, yeah, a lot has happened today. A lot has happened. Wow, I don't even know. I'm just going to check right now to see if anything else quickly has come in before, we do a little group gathering here, but so there is an order of reference of who to contact so that they can start mediation for Blake Lively and the Wayfair parties to see if they want to settle or if they can get to any kind of settle. Again, the judge doesn't care what happens. Any case will always go through mediation before it gets to court. That's just normal. I do want to see if anything has happened in this Abel and Jones case since she filed this nutty freaking reamendment here, but no, nothing. Wow. She's trying to sue Jamie Heath for recording a phone call that he hasn't even done anything with. I wonder what she said on that call because it must have been damning for her to be acting this way. Because if she didn't say nothing wrong, then who cares? Who cares? But how does she even know that Jennifer Abel was there? Honestly, I gotta find Jamie Heath's depot because that stuff is crazy. Where is it? Let me find this. No, not this one. Here it is. so crazy. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say. I'm trying to find where he says about the phone call in the deposition here, but oh my god. Yeah, I wish the website was still open. I didn't get to take a peek at it. I mean, I seen like little things from it, but I never got to see like the full thing. And the thing is like if it has, then it has, for it to be defamation, it has to be false, right? And what's crazy is she might have just opened the door to, a lot more stuff. A lot more people coming at her and being able to say like, no, actually it's true or whatever. So I don't know. That's crazy. Bleak Unlively, love the name, and yeah, I also agree. I agree with you. Totally, like 100%. 100% I agree. Okay, I'm gonna try to find. She definitely asked him about this recording, which is crazy that I don't know that they're able to re-amend at this time and then add all this new information plus add a new person is like kind of crazy. Here we go. I just found it. Jamie Heat's deposition about the recorded phone call. I'm going to pull it up right now. What page is this on? I got to remember. Page 22. Okay. Just in case it loses the page. I don't want to lose the page. Where's the chat? Oh, there you guys are. Okay. I'm just going to get to page 22 and then I'll sorry, it's a little wonky here. So in Jamie Heat's deposition, they ask him literally about recording phone calls. Right here. How often do you record phone calls? Objection. In my entire life, I've recorded 3, maybe 4 in the same period of time. In your entire life, you've recorded 3 or 4 phone calls? Correct. And in when were those phone calls recorded? Sometime at I don't know the months, but in 2024, I believe around August, I believe maybe July, somewhere in there. And were all of the phone calls that you recorded related in some way to It Ends With Us? In some way, yes. Sunday, we received a production of 4 call recordings under your Bates label starting with Heath. Are those the calls that you recorded? And then it does go to attorney eyes only, 67. It goes back on 73. And it says, represent and speak on our behalf. And based on some previous conversations with her, I was losing confidence. And I knew this was a testy situation. And I wanted to document anything she might say to me. Did you tell Miss Jones that you were recording the call? I did not. Why not? Simply because I wanted to have documented where she was or her state of mind was, and I didn't allow her to know. You didn't want her to know. I didn't deliberately think that I didn't want her to know. I just didn't announce it. Were you planning to use it against her in some way? No. And you said you couldn't remember if there was a third person listening into the call. I just don't recall. But if there was, then I'm not saying there wasn't. I just don't recall it. So you don't remember, for example, if at, and then it skips 73. And then it skips 9 pages. That's very interesting. And then he goes on to say that he also recorded a call with Danny, Gloria, and Josh Greenston. And then it says, and where were you located when that was recorded? And he says, city and state in Los Angeles. But that's also for the call, I believe now, with Josh Greenston from WME and from Sony. So maybe in those redacted pages, he does say that he was in Illinois or that Jennifer Abel was there. That's so crazy. She must have said some stuff on that call that is not going to be good when it comes out. Because remember, the judge said he wants all the recording files. You got to drop CDs. I mean, by the 19th, I think we're going to have so many people's depositions and so much stuff unsealed. I think that's what Jones is more pissed about, is that she was recorded without her permission. Wow. Wow, Madrid, hello. How can she get money from John Doe's? I think once you start to get more information, which is crazy because her fact discovery is closed, so I don't know how she can even have John Doe's at this point. John Doe's eventually are supposed to be replaced with actual people's names as the case goes on. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Blake Unalively. That's kind of crazy too. This woman is completely delusional. Oh my God. I don't know if this is going to work for or against her. Honestly, I think it's kind of like crazy. Wow. Being so petty. Like, don't you have bigger fish to fry? At this point, I just feel like, okay, they're going to be like, okay, well, if we can't get you on defamation, I got you on secretly recording. Blake Lively. Okay, well, if I can't get you on sexual harassment or the smear campaign, I'm going to get you on whatever her other new causes are, on sanctions. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. They're just weird, you know? Exactly. How was she crying about a secret recording when you literally took Jen Abel's entire phone contents and gave them to the op and gave them to Blake Lively with a fake lawsuit? And you're going to be over here crying that he recorded a phone call? Hello, y'all both are just kind of crazy, like unclean hands everywhere. It really just goes to show, like, you honestly, you can't really trust nobody. Like, and when it comes to business, everything in writing. No phone calls, no text messages, no nothing. Like, honestly, it's just like emails. Have a record. Watch yourself, because you don't know who's out there. People like Stephanie motherfucking Jones and, you know, even Melissa Nathan and stuff. Like, you don't know what's going on. Like, people always have, it seems like there's a lot of, you know, different motives, but... Anyway, guys, that's it for me. 9:30. I'm going to go take a little Canadian candy. Call my bestie. It's her birthday. And, yeah, that's it. I do have an episode coming for you tomorrow. Yeah, Dre, totally. I mean, honestly, watching this case has opened my eyes to PR. The veil has been removed from Hollywood. All of these elite people, they're crazy. I mean, even the Ryan Reynolds and the Blake Lively's of it all. I actually didn't know Blake Lively before this started. Like, I saw her in the Met Galas and stuff, and I knew she was on a popular TV show, like, you know, Gossip Girl. I never watched Gossip Girl. I was like a little bit older, like when that all was coming out, or it just wasn't my thing. And I knew she was married to Ryan Reynolds, but like I didn't know anything about her. And I wish I could go back and not know anything about her because she's kind of crazy. But yeah, documents. I learned so much more about the law. I mean, just everything, you know, it's just like crazy. But yeah, episode tomorrow is coming. Stephanie Jones replied to her motion for spoliation is in there. There's a bunch of attachments we didn't go through, which is fine. I'll go through that. And then also, I want to talk a little bit more about some connections I found with all of these people. Alex Sachs, Blake Lively. As we know, Paul Feig came out. He said, oh yeah, Blake Lively got Brandon Sklenar the part in Housemaid. Brandon Sklenar came out and said, no, Sydney Sweeney got it for me. Blake Lively's responded to that, of course. She's out here doing her crisis management. So there's a lot to go over tomorrow, but it'll be really fun. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. This was a really long live, but I loved it. It was so fun. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Jel, so much. Thank you for all the members that showed up. You guys are so amazing. I have so much stuff coming in the new year that I'm really excited about with this channel, with the members group, with everything and the way it's going to be run. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, Squidney Sweeney. That's exactly what I said. And I'm going to be doing lives a lot more, like I guess after the holidays. It's just going to be like a daily show for lives and stuff. So everything's coming out and I'm very excited and I'm so happy everyone's here and all the members here. I do want to thank Jill. Thank you so much for your super thanks. And Nunu, thank you so much for your super thanks. That was awesome. I love seeing it. And yeah, you guys are really cool. Men are canceled. I know you're never going to let me forget that. Like Squidney Sweeney is nuts, but you know, it just comes out. I love you so much. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night and you get to enjoy yourselves a little bit. Okay. And yeah, we'll see. I already know the clapback on both of first of all, Blake Lively fully lying in her reply and like insinuating a bunch of conclusions that weren't true. Crazy. And then also this new amendment. I don't even know if it's going to get anywhere. I'm really excited to see if little girl attorney has an opinion on this because I love the way she presents all of the information. I'm sure she's probably already made a TikTok or two about this. So I'm very interested to hear from litigation lawyers on this very bold, very untimely late motion, but we'll see, you know, but thank you so much. Yeah, so that is so true at Sundrop. So even Blake Lively, when she first dropped her, every time I try to get off, I'm like, no. When Blake Lively first filed her lawsuit, it was all Justin Baldoni, right? Justin Baldoni's the bad guy. Justin Baldoni sexually harassed me. Justin. You barely heard anything about Jamie Heath, and now it's all Jamie Heath heavy. Even in Blake Lively's own filing that she just did like last week, she said in her reply to the motion for summary judgment, I guess I'm like Justin Baldoni too. I have to close my eyes and remember exactly what it was. She said that Jamie Heath's, just with the two things that Jamie Heath did, that should be enough for her claim to go through. Do you know? So it's like, well, what happened with Justin Baldoni? So I think now, because they couldn't get Justin on the sexual harassment or on anything, now they're going to put all the blame on Jamie Heath and try to go that way. So Sundrop, thank you for reminding me of that. I have that in my notes, actually. I wrote this huge note on my notepad, like, why the heck is it now Jamie Heath? Like, does no one else find this weird? Like, what happened to Justin Baldoni being the big creep and now it's Jamie Heath? So it's kind of crazy, but... Oh, little girl hasn't posted yet? Okay. Then I'm sure she will in the morning or something, but she's amazing. Anyway, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate you guys. If you want to join the membership or you can wait until the new year, it's totally fine. I think it's like only like $2.99 a month. It's at its lowest tier, but I have a lot of good stuff for you. Or she has. Okay, I'm going to go watch this as soon as I am done FaceTiming my bestie. I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a good night. And I will see you tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. And yeah, we'll get through this, okay? Stephanie motherfucking Jones is crazy. Blake Lively's a little delulu. And it all seems like they're really trying to wrangle in the house of cards that is continually falling. Thank you so much, Alyssa. I appreciate it. Sundrop, Shorty P, what's up? Jill. Men are canceled. Love it. Bing, bomb, beam. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to go now. Thank you so much. Dre, you're amazing. Bleak and Lively. You guys are all super cool. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.